The official Winnipeg Jets pregame show continues on 680 CJOB.
Is it still a rush to come out of that runway into that whiteout for the first time in the postseason?
Yeah, you know, there's nothing like the whiteout. It's incredible. It's what makes, you know, playoff hockey in Winnipeg so electric. We've got an incredible fan base, incredible community of supporters, and, you know, just seeing the outfits, you know, seeing the passion and the excitement they have for us and the support they have for us, it's awesome. And, you know, it's always such an exciting time of the year when, you know, you can come out and, you know, you want to play well in front of them. They've supported us all year. And
the whiteout is what makes Winnipeg so unique. You've had a chance to be in so many of them. How big of a deal is it for you guys to get off to a great start in this series and get your fans even more engaged than they already are?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, this is why you work all year to get a chance in the playoffs. You know, in the summertime, all those things. This is what you're preparing for. So, being at home here, games 1 and 2, and being in front of our fans, I mean, it's incredible. You can feel the energy in the city whenever we're in the playoffs this time of year, and, you know, just can't wait to hit the ice.
Never gets old. Best atmosphere in hockey. I always tell my friends I've played in a lot of places, played internationally, played in some gold medal games, whatever, state championships, and this is the best it gets is the whiteout.
What does home ice advantage mean to you? We see how you connect with the crowd and kind of feed off the crowd, but how can you guys leverage home ice advantage to be an advantage?
I don't think we need to do anything. I know you've been around a crowd. Our crowd is insane. I think the second we step on that ice, we got it. We have that home ice advantage. I know our crowd's going to bring it. They're elite at chants, the in-game chants, and, you know, I just feel like our crowd chants the right moments, and that's maybe just a PK clearing the puck. You know, they get the game. They know what little moments, how big of an impact it has on a game. So, you know, I think just playing the game and having our crowd there is already a huge advantage.
Connor Hellebuck, along with Josh Morrissey, Neil Pionk, and Adam Lowry, all veterans of the whiteout, but it is always spectacular, that first one, and then the crescendo kind of builds from there as we welcome you back to the Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools pregame show. And Ken Weeb of the Winnipeg Free Press, just before we get into the boys in the booth, you were outside, and Neil Pionk was talking about how he's played internationally, and there are people that are from outside of Manitoba, outside of Canada, for goodness sakes, at that whiteout party.
It's wild out there, Kelly. Someone introduced to someone from London or England came in for the game. A bunch of people from around the province, saw a few buddies from Altona. And
no, it wasn't the guy dressed up as the Queen you're talking about.
No, there is one though. There's another full-on. There's a couple dresses out there, some nice attire. Somebody wearing a full KFC extra crispy bucket out there as well. Great enthusiasm out on the plaza, and a lot of Scott Oaks people are already getting into it.
All right. Certainly Oakie's going to have a lot of fun with that. Well, it is that time in the Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools pregame show for the boys in the booth, and it's brought to you by Namath Diamonds. For your diamond engagement ring, see Namath Diamonds, a family tradition of excellence in Southdale Square. We have assembled the troops. You just heard from Ken Weeb of the Winnipeg Free Press. Murata Tesh of the Athletic is here. The coach is actually over. He is over in the Primo suite, occupied by the boys in the booth, Paul Edmonds and Mitchell Clinton. And Paul, you're a broadcasting veteran. You have done many a game outside of Winnipeg. But I think that gives you the best perspective of all, along with Mitchell and some of the guys who've traveled here over my right shoulder, just how special this atmosphere here is in this rink, in the outside downtown area, in this city, and in this province.
Undoubtedly the best experience that I've ever had, and I hazard to say this because I don't want to sound biased, but you know, it's your hometown too, right? So from that standpoint, you're really proud of this tradition that's been created going back to 1.0 and the playoff runs in the 80s and how it's developed. It's evolved even more so with people dressing up. It's not just a white t-shirt anymore, right? That's where it started, with a white t-shirt. And now you've got people dressing up. You have people putting things on their cars. There's costumes. It's a masquerade party. I remember sort of saying that last year as well. It's truly unique in sports, but particularly in hockey, and it's unique to Winnipeg, and I think that's what makes it so special, being the smallest market in the NHL.
While you drive along the main thoroughfares where there are car dealerships, and of course they all get into it with all the white vehicles that are parked out on the road. Our good friends at Princess Auto with those lawn signs going into any neighborhood, and there are white out lawn signs everywhere. I mean, Mitchell Clinton, it really is something, especially for the players who've not been through it before. And John Shannon mentioned this earlier on our pregame show, but there were some Winnipeg players after Game 1 against Colorado last year that even talked about how, they kind of got wrapped up a little bit. Maybe that explained the wild 7-6 game that we saw. But it'll be interesting to see, with so many players who have gone through it before, how they manage that, if you will, against the St. Louis Blues here this afternoon/evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And, my wife would say that I'm a pretty even keel human being, but even me today, I was almost wanting a morning skate to do something with the nervous energy. You know what I mean? I was just kind of walking around. I've prepped for this game, but I was thinking of other things to prep for. Like, you can imagine for these players too, especially the ones, even someone like, Luke Shen, who's played in over 1,000 regular season games, got all this playoff experience, but this is still something different to come out into an environment that they've never done. And you can kind of hear now they're coming out for warm-up, and it's almost a half-full building right now, even already. So it's obviously something completely different. I'm sure visually it's something completely different for a lot of these players, but that's when you kind of settle into your experience and you embrace the feeling, you embrace every part of it, and then get down to business when that puck drops.
Ken Wiebe, Winnipeg Free Press, there is so much expectation for this hockey club this season, going into this postseason, if you will, because of the season they had. I would think even more than a year ago when, let's face it, with the way the Winnipeg Jets finished on an 8-game heater, that there was the thought that they had all the parts in place to go deep. But I think that's off the charts even compared to this year.
Absolutely, Kelly, and I think they're much more well-equipped to handle it in terms of the conversations we've had with both players and Scott O'Neill. I don't think they're being burdened by the weight of expectation, maybe the way they had previously. I think scar tissue was a humongous narrative yesterday. I loved everything that I heard from every player that spoke.
Yeah.
The moment is not going to be too big for them this time. It still means they have to deliver, but they won't be overwhelmed if they get punched in the mouth the way that in the past they haven't responded really since 2019, frankly.
Yeah, well, I mean, Murat attests you have to go all the way back to the bubble in Edmonton for when the Winnipeg Jets came off a series opening loss to Calgary and won Game 2. That was the last time that they won a game coming off of a playoff loss. And I really listened intently to what Josh Morrissey had to say about some of the things Kenny just addressed there, that mental strength to be able to absorb that adversity and react positively to it. That's been a missing element for this Winnipeg Jets team in the playoffs, certainly of 2023 and 24 in particular. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the interesting thing for me is that when I hear him say that, I believe him. And we go back all the way to getting stung so badly by Colorado. And I know we talk about it too much. That was a lot of expectation on the Jets. They won the first game. They dropped 4 straight. They're devastated. And I remember standing next to Josh Morrissey in the room after Game 5 when he said, I hope this stings.
Yeah.
I hope we're going to use this as motivation. And in all of my 8 years of covering these Winnipeg Jets, it was the most struck, the most belief I had in that. I believe that they've faced their problems. I believe they've named their areas for growth, and I believe that over the course of 82 games, they've given themselves as good of a chance to prepare for what's in front of them as they may have done. What's next is up to them.
Dwayne Gilowojcik, of all of us that are on this row here, you are the best suited to answer this question, and that is the unwavering consistency in which Scott O'Neill has gone about his business right from day one.
Yeah, and I think it just goes right down the whole lineup, the players. The players are always a direct kind of correspondence to the coach, how the coach reacts to certain situations, how he talks about it, how he goes about his business. And I think it's just a confidence that he's instilled into this hockey club. It starts with his assistant coaches. Everything's been consistent. Day one, they go about their daily routine. They live that one day. They move on to the next day when it arrives. When they wake up in the morning, it's just simple routine. And I think that's going to become so important for them here, that no matter what happens, if it's a win, if it's a loss, they wake up the next morning, it's a new challenge. And I think Scott O'Neill has really instilled that confidence that, might have been missing from this organization over the past couple of years. And then you add about how some key players have grown up, and Scott O'Neill has just let them play hockey has been a big key thing as well.
Well, Paul and Mitchell, we've all had our crack at identifying what we think of the key matchups in this series. What about from your guys' perspective?
I think Winnipeg wants to take away Robert Thomas and that top line. Now, you can say Jordan Kyrou had 36 goals, and he's the top scorer when it comes to goal scoring on the second line, but Robert Thomas led them in points, and he is the driver. So if some way you can turn St. Louis into a one-line hockey team and make the Shen line score more than the Thomas line, I think you've certainly done one of the things that you want to accomplish in this series. For St. Louis, they want to be able to slow Winnipeg down, but I can't see it, Kelly. I think Winnipeg is going to, as they commanded earlier this month, the middle of the ice, the speed, the territory game on this St. Louis team. They want, and I asked Scott O'Neill this question in Coach's Corner, they want to duplicate that game plan and take that into tonight. For St. Louis, it might be easy to say, take away Kyle Connor, the Scheifele line. There's four lines that are pretty a tall order to handle, even the fourth line, and they get more done than just churning around at 110 miles an hour. But we're looking at a guy on the screen, and that was Josh Morrissey. I think for St. Louis, if they can take away two defensemen for Winnipeg in Neil Pionk and Josh Morrissey, they would really like their game, because a lot of offense for the Jets starts with those two guys in the back end.
You read my mind, Paul, because the two that I'm looking at for the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues, not necessarily in a 1v1 capacity, but kind of just the role that they're going to play in this series for their respective teams, is that Team Canada Four Nations D pair in Colton Parayko and Josh Morrissey. Morrissey, 14 goals this year, over 60 points once again, 3 straight years. He's such a big part of what Winnipeg does offensively, but he's more than likely going to have that defensive assignment against the Robert Thomas line. And I think back to that Colorado series when, you heard some of the Winnipeg Jets and some of the analysis that came after that series said all of a sudden Colorado was dumping way more pucks than normal. Getting those pucks off the wall and getting that breakout going for Winnipeg is going to be so important for everybody on the back end. But that is Josh Morrissey's bread and butter. I'm sure he's going to see a lot of heavy checking from the St. Louis Blues. And Colton Parayko, obviously back in the lineup for St. Louis, is a big boost for their back end that's not short on playoff experience. 14 goals for Colton Parayko this year. He's also active offensively, but he blocks a lot of shots as well for the St. Louis Blues. He's a big part of what makes getting to their net front difficult.
Some of those names, maybe some that you didn't hear from Paul and Mitchell, may factor into the 3 stars. And, of course, on the post-game show, we will have that for you for Shine Dental. Don't miss out on life's appetizing offerings because of ill-fitting dentures. Get set right with shinedental.ca. We'll leave Paul and Mitchell to do their final preparation. So, Ken Weber was kind of interesting. Jim Montgomery was asked yesterday by members of the St. Louis media about the extra pressure for the President's Trophy winner going into the playoffs. And, of course, Monty would know about that. He would know. Yeah, with 2022-23 with Boston, where it didn't go well for him. But I would say the big difference here, and I'd like you to weigh in on this, the Boston Bruins got all kinds of respect that year that they were the President's Trophy winners. I don't know that the Winnipeg Jets have lost too many situations to not keep both skates on the ice.
Yeah, 100%. And the fact, and Kelly, you touched on it during the week also with various people. You asked the question of the benefits of being in a race until game 80 and 81. That is massive. Monty's Bruins were on cruise control for 2 months because of the crazy start that they had. The Jets, and again, in terms of the, how the respect factor, these are facts. The Jets have won 1 round since 2019. So they want to change the narrative, win a couple series, and I think that's going to be part of their motivating factor. But yeah, this team is not getting fat on its press clippings,
right?
And that's a big factor when you get ready for a series like this. And honestly, facing a team that knocked you out of the playoffs, even if it was 6 years ago, they have your attention immediately. So they're not going to be looking past this opponent by any stretch of the imagination.
Murat Atesh, there is the thinking that perhaps St. Louis is playing with house money. They are the overwhelming underdogs, if you will, depending on who you listen to. But they're not coming to Winnipeg with the idea that they're going to be just roadkill for the Winnipeg Jets. And I think, there is pressure on the Jets because of the expectation. So from that perspective, how important is it, even if Winnipeg doesn't win this game, because they could argue, well, we lost game one, or we won game one in 23 and 24, and, that didn't work out so well for us, so we're trying something different they could maybe do tongue-in-cheek. But to look like themselves in this first game so that we don't all of a sudden have to walk into the narrative of, here we go again.
Yeah, for both teams, that's going to be a very big deal. They both have reasons to have chips on their shoulder. They both have reasons to feel doubted or maybe undersold. And they both played so well down the stretch. I think Winnipeg was a better version of itself down the stretch, even though they didn't finish with an 8-game win streak with all of the goals they scored last season. Yeah. If you go into the analytics, which I love to do, their share of where did that game get played? The Winnipeg Jets were all over the offensive zone down the stretch. They were creating tons of quality scoring chances. They weren't giving up quality scoring chances. It was a really good, detail-oriented team game. So for me, whether it's a win, whether it's a loss, whether we see lots of goals or only a few today, it's just going to be playing to their identity. And the difference, I think, is that the Jets this season have given a larger sample of doing exactly that and getting the results from it.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think they scored something like 17 or 18 more goals than they did a year ago, while allowing about 9 or 10 less. And I'm going off of memory here, but the bottom line is they did not sacrifice offense to play spectacular defense again.
No cheat in their game, right? That's the biggest difference. And Kelly, you touched on it earlier. Even though the Jets built the big lead, they already strayed from their structure in the third period against the Avalanche in Game 1. So it wasn't just the fact they lost 4 straight. It was the fact that it was already going south in the third period.
Even in a win, they didn't look like who they were supposed to.
If that game went 5 more minutes, Jets wouldn't have won a game in the series, potentially, right? I mean, that was the other part of it. So the other crazy thing, guys, we've talked about this before during the course of the year because it's lasted so long. Kyle Connor has gone 46 games without scoring a power play goal. This is a guy that had 9 goals on the power play, I think 28 points. He's one of their biggest weapons, but he has gone silent when it comes to scoring with the man advantage. And this is a zoom-out situation, Kelly. Blues were not good on the penalty kill during the year, but since the Four Nations, they've been the best in the NHL, so you can't just say, oh, here's an easy area for the Jets to pick up on. But Kyle Connor doesn't have to be goal scoring, but he needs to be more dangerous on the power play, especially without Velarde and Ehlers in the series.
89% for St. Louis roughly on their penalty kill since Four Nations. Final word to you, Murat. What are you expecting with all of the preparation that you have done and deep dive into the analytics? What are you looking for from this hockey game in Game 1?
Yeah, so St. Louis is going to play a similar defense to Winnipeg. You're going to see 3 guys in the middle of the ice. You're going to see 2 forwards attacking the points with a lot of aggression, and that's something they did really well, even though Winnipeg won the last time we watched them play here. The Jets did a great job of spending time in the offensive zone, and by the end of that game, you saw the stars like Kyle Connor, like Mark Scheifele, find a little bit of room on the flanks, get the puck to the point, drive the net. They found soft ice despite the St. Louis Blues' excellent defensive structure. And for me, it's going to be cat and mouse, patience on the Winnipeg Jets superstar perspective. If they can hold tight, keep the game close until Kyle Connor does find his 3 feet of space, that's what you're going to like from them.
You guys have been such a big part of our coverage right since the time that we regained the broadcast rights, and we're so thankful to have you on board for this playoff run. Murat Atesh of The Athletic, Ken Wiebe of the Winnipeg Free Press joining us for our Roundtable Part 2 here on the Mid-Canada Fasters and Tools pregame show. And coming up next, the coach returns with his keys to the game as we wrap things up with a look at the scoreboard as well here on 680 CJOB.
You can play the hits from all our shows anytime, anywhere through our podcasts. The Start.
That was the moment of truth in my life, for sure.
Jets at noon.
The likes of which we have never seen before in Winnipeg.
Pre- and post-game shows.
There were a couple of beauties, too.
The news.
Those voices get amplified through social media.
CJOB, this year's winner of the best podcast on the prairies. CJOB on Apple Podcasts and wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Hey Jets fans, get ready for the Winnipeg Whiteout with Jets gear and TrueNorthShop.com. Choose from a huge variety of official Winnipeg Jets Whiteout apparel, headwear, novelties, and more. Need a new white hat, t-shirt, pants, or a jersey? We've got you covered.
Moving in, shooting, score!
Shop online at TrueNorthShop.com or by visiting one of our Jets gear store locations.
You know what goes well with pizza from Santa Lucia Pizza. They've been the leaders in quality since 1971, and now they just keep winning award after award after award. So, sounds like they know a thing or two about making tasty pizza. How about this? When you're getting ready on game day, choose one of Santa Lucia Pizza's many specials or combos and find out why time and time again it's listed as Manitoba's favorite pizza.
Santa Lucia Pizza.
It's all about the sauce.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Waters, and reliable heating and air conditioning is truly a family. My parents started the business over 30 years ago, and today, me and my brother Clint are carrying it on, with customer satisfaction being priority number one. We believe good service is affordable to all our customers, so give us a call if your furnace or AC isn't working like it should. We want you to feel comfortable 24/7. We are family strong, reliable strong, and Winnipeg strong. For details, visit reliableheatair.ca.
Brought to you by Play Now. Bet on Manitoba. Enjoy responsibly. You have questions? This crew loves to drill down for the answers. The official Winnipeg Jets pregame show on 680 CJOB.
And it is the playoff edition of the pregame show for Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. Shop where the professional tradespeople shop. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. Brett, Mike, and the rest of the gang. Just fantastic people. Go meet and deal with them yourself at 1557 King Edward Street. You will be glad that you did. Well, the man with the answers in the analyst chair tonight is the coach, Dwayne Gilawojchuk. Dwayne, you've been making notes left, right, and center since you got here in the booth. I'm thinking you're going to be writing a book at some stage, but maybe not going through all chapters and verses, but the real key ones for what we should look for in this opening game of the series.
Well, I think first and foremost, I think it's just the pace and the tempo and the speed the Winnipeg Jets are going to have to play this series. I think St. Louis is a quick team, but they're a heavy team that plays a heavy game, but they don't have a lot of quickness when you get past their top six forwards. And you know, some of their D are, you know, like we talked about, they're cagey veterans and they're kind of doing things like that. You know, played in the NHL for a long time, so I think it's going to be key for them to kind of play that speed up high as much as they can. But I think the other thing, and one of the biggest things that's going to happen, is that the Winnipeg Jets have to establish their forecheck. They have to get pucks in behind the St. Louis D-core, make them defend, and make it difficult for them to break pucks out, which in turn will give them puck management and also puck possession. Then they can get to work offensively, and I just think it's going to be such a key for them to play this series in St. Louis's defensive end over their end. And I just think if they do that, they're able to use their talent and their experience.
Yeah, I think the team that can play with physicality but within its structure is going to be huge in this series, because as much as over the course of the year, the Winnipeg Jets were 18th among the 32 teams in hits. They finished with 1,700 right on the button, so that works out to about 20 and a half per game. St. Louis was 6th overall with 300 more hits, 2003. But I think if Luke Schenn, Brandon Tanev, and Jared Anderson-Dolan had been here from the get-go, Winnipeg would be right there with St. Louis. So certainly, and we'll know, the first 3 or 4 shifts of this hockey game, the boards are going to be rattling here at Canada Life Center.
They sure are. Players are going to want to throw a hit, take a hit. There's always that saying hockey players say, get into the game any way you can. Do it when it comes natural to you. But there's always going to be that one big hit that someone does in the first couple minutes, the first shift of the hockey game. They're going to want to send a message to the other team, especially St. Louis, I'm sure, is going to want to finish a hard hit somewhere. But then if you look at the lineup of the Winnipeg Jets, there is a big body on each of the forward lineup that can be physical. That's their job, and that's the piece they bring to their lineup. And then you look at the defense, the 3 defense pairing. There are some big bodies. That third pairing, that is a big, hard pair to play against. They've got to establish that physical presence early in the series. But I think it's going to be going back and forth, and I think that ties a little bit what team is going to be willing to go to the hard areas of the ice through the whole series, and who's going to be stopped doing that, which team's going to give in first.
Keys to the game for St. Andrews Parts and Power, where a handshake means something. For more, head to standrewspartsandpower.ca. Going to come back for the intermissions in the postgame?
I sure am.
Good, because I know you'll have a lot more notes scribbled down by then. Let's take a quick check on the scoreboard. This is one of only 2 playoff games on opening night of the tournament to decide the ultimate winner of Lord Stanley's mug. Colorado at Dallas is a 7:30 start Central Time. The Manitoba Moose are wrapping up their 2004-25 regular season in the American Hockey League in Cedar Park, Texas tonight against the Stars. At the World Women's Championship semifinals in Czechia this morning, the United States edged the host country 2-1, while Canada surrendered the first goal and then completely took over after that, downing Finland 8-1. So it'll be Canada and the United States in the gold medal game at 11 a.m. our time tomorrow morning. In the MMJHL final, the St. Boniface Reals, coming off their first playoff loss, will try to wrap things up in Game 5 tonight at Transcona. That's an 8 o'clock start. NBA playoffs, Indiana opens with a 117-98 win over the Milwaukee Bucks. And late in the fourth quarter, just over 4 minutes to go, great game in Denver. The Clippers are up 92-91 on the Nuggets. And in Major League Baseball, Seattle and Toronto in the 9th inning, tied at 3. Later on tonight, Valor FC plays their second game in the Canadian Premier League at Forge FC. Again, a 6 o'clock start Winnipeg time. That is the Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools pregame show. Mach 10 has started the party down below here at Canada Life Center. Well, no, actually, the party was going on long ago yesterday afternoon out on Donald Street. What a wonderful time to be a Winnipegger and a Manitoban. And you know what? You get the chance to hear the one and only Paul Edmonds and Mitchell Clinton describe it all for you right after Jura McElwraith and before Puck Drop News coming up next on 680 CJOB.
You have been listening to the official Winnipeg Jets pregame show. Getting ready for Puck Drop with Paul Edmonds and Mitchell Clinton. Coming right up on 680 CJOB.
In today's business world, hiring and retaining staff is a challenge. But Chambers Plan Employee Benefits gives you an edge. A solid benefits plan can be the deciding factor for job seekers. 30,000 Canadian businesses agree Chambers Plan gives you the flexibility to offer comprehensive benefits with affordable, stable premiums. See how Chambers Plan can benefit your business at buychambers.ca. That's BUY chambers.ca.
Growing up on a dairy farm taught me to take good care of the land so that the land can take good care of us. So on my farm, we're always looking for new and improved ways to do things. Because we don't just farm for today, we also farm for tomorrow. You see, dairy farming is all about preserving the land, water, and air for future generations. And that's why everything we do is all from a good place.
He shoots. He scores.
Jacuzzi Manitoba wants you to win back your purchase in the Jacuzzi Win Your Wellness Contest. Until April 30th, purchase any new jacuzzi hot tub, swim spa, cold plunge tub, infrared sauna, or massage chair, and if the boys in white are league champs after all 4 rounds of the playoffs, you will win back the purchase price of your wellness product. Contest limited to the first 50 Jacuzzi Wellness products purchased in April. For full Jacuzzi Win Your Wellness Contest rules, visit Jacuzzi Manitoba in Winnipeg or Brandon.
680 CJOB is your place to turn for the information you need. And we get it all started first thing in the morning with The Start. 4 hours of fresh outlooks, engaging conversation, information as you need it, and plenty of fun along the way. Catch The Start 6 to 10 weekday mornings on 680 CJOB.
Global News at Puck Drop, I'm Jura McElwraith. With just over a week to go until Canadians elect their new Prime Minister, federal party leaders are releasing their platforms. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says he plans to take the stress off Canadians when it comes to paying for health care, which includes improved mental health support. Liberal leader Mark Carney's platform shows it would add $35.2 billion in new spending over the next year and a total of $129 billion over the next 4 years. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says the Liberals' new platform will impoverish Canadians, but is yet to disclose his own. Looking locally, 2 people were taken to hospital following an assault with a machete earlier this week. Police found 2 victims in critical condition on Alverstone Street around 3:30 Friday morning. Both have been upgraded to stable despite their serious injuries. Officers believe the suspects fled on foot and are asking anyone with information to contact Major Crimes or Crime Stoppers. And finally, downtown businesses are jumping at the chance to be part of the whiteout action this playoff season. Olivia Bilson, Director of Marketing with Downtown Winnipeg Biz, says many restaurants and stores are extending their hours.
Businesses are putting their best foot forward. They want to be part of the action and they want to build that community spirit. Like you said, there's definitely a vibe this year. Community, collaboration, celebration.
Bilson says there's a more noticeable excitement in the city this year. And now over to your Winnipeg Jets game right here on 680 CJOB.
All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Winnipeg Jets Hockey Club is expressly prohibited. Live from Canada Life Centre, this is Winnipeg Jets Hockey on 680 CJOB. Now here's the voice of your Winnipeg Jets, Paul Edmonds.
After a record-breaking regular season and a rise to the top of the National Hockey Leagues, for the first time ever, the Winnipeg Jets now get ready for perhaps their biggest playoff matchup in years. Since advancing to the Western Conference Final in 2018, playoff success has been very limited for the Jets, especially over the last 2 years where they have been bounced in the first round. But entering tonight's first game of this best-of-7 series with the St. Louis Blues to start this year's Stanley Cup playoffs, there appears to be a different scent in the air. For the Jets and their fans, it's the smell of change in that this year is going to be different from the last 2, especially against a team like the Blues, who beat them out in 2019 en route to winning the Stanley Cup. And Mitchell Clinton, the Jets proved throughout the 82-game season that they were the best team in the league. But starting tonight, they'll look to prove that the regular season success that they had can carry over into the playoffs as well.
That's right, Paul. And while the regular season isn't the same as the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Winnipeg Jets played in a number of big games during the first 82, and they showed up with their best in every single one. The regular season is about building calluses, as Scott Arniel says, gaining those experiences as a group that can be looked back on when things get difficult. Those calluses are important, but so is the confidence built from those strong performances. Every series is different, and this one with St. Louis will be physical and tight checking. Look for the Jets to embrace that, stay in their structure, and try to find a way to grab hold of this series early.
It's the Jets and the St. Louis Blues. Game number 1 is coming up next, and you're listening to Play Now, Winnipeg Jets Hockey on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97 and 680. CJOB.
The Start.
I was on the perimeter yesterday afternoon, and I got this guy right on my tail, right on my bumper. And it's like, dude, A, I can't go any faster. B, why are you so close to me? Do you have any idea what would happen if that truck lost a tire or had to stop quickly? I'm trying to keep a safe distance from that vehicle, and you are right on my backside. I was so angry. Like, give people room to breathe. We're all going to get there. At least we all want to get there safely.
The Start, weekday mornings 6 to 10.
Lowry moving in, shoot, score!
Jets fans, it's your chance to win big all night long with our playoff 50-50 raffle. Get your tickets now for a shot at multiple cash prizes during the game, ranging from $1,000 to $25,000. Plus, one lucky winner will take home 50% of the total sales at the end of the series. Don't miss out. Text JETS to 20450 for your chance to win. That's JETS to 20450.
Hey, this is Josh Morrissey. Paul Edmonds and Mitchell Clinton are bringing it. Winnipeg Jets hockey style on 680 CJOB.
So for the second time since relocation, these two teams meet in the playoffs, and it didn't go well for Winnipeg in the first meeting, and that was in 2018-2019. They dropped the first two games at home, won the next two in St. Louis, dumped game number 5 here at home, and then ended up dumping game number 6 in St. Louis. And the last 3 games were 1-goal games in that series. And I do remember with about 4 seconds left in game number 6, Patrick Laine hit the post and would have tied the score. St. Louis, they had a Cinderella season, went on to win the Stanley Cup that year. By the way, they had a coaching change this year like they did that year in 2019. Jordan Binnington got hot again like he did this year back in 2019. And with the coaching change, the Blues certainly thrived under their new head coach in Jim Montgomery. And since the Four Nations break, we're 21-5-4, 46 points. They were the hottest team in the National Hockey League since coming out of that February break.
Yeah, they absolutely were, and of course came into Winnipeg late in the season, kind of partway through April, in that 12-game win streak. One better than the one that Winnipeg put up with the 11-gamer a little bit earlier in the season, and it was Winnipeg that put an end to that streak. But really, since then, St. Louis lost 3 in a row, and before finally winning that season finale. Now, part of it maybe is just kind of the exhale after a long streak like that, and of course, kind of like we said in the intro, the Stanley Cup playoffs are a little bit different. Winnipeg had to battle right through game 80 before they really knew that they had the Central Division locked up, and there's certainly some value in that. St. Louis had to play their tails off to get into the postseason, and like I said, maybe took a little bit of an exhale there, but nonetheless, everything, the entire slate wipes clean as we get ready to start game 1 between these two teams. A real intriguing series, of course, given the history. There's about a dozen players, if not just under that played in that 2019 series. Obviously a lot more experiences that they've all gone through over those 6 years since, but it is intriguing to see these two teams battling once again.
Anytime you have trepidation about something in an environment that you're going into, you'll always look to your leaders to guide you. Look to them to say, get on my back. And I thought Adam Lowry did that precisely the other day. Of course, there's going to be lots of questions. There has been about the Winnipeg Jets going into this playoff series and what's happened against Vegas 2 years ago and last year against Colorado. There's going to be more questions come up, and you know this, if Winnipeg wins this game tonight, going into game 2, because for the last 2 years, they've won game number 1. It's been game number 2 that's been the bugaboo. But I thought Adam Lowry was very succinct and right on point when he said, we are really looking forward to the challenge and the pressure that comes with this time of year. It is the best time of year, end quote, Mitchell.
Yeah, you absolutely have to embrace it. And, I think we'll be saying that a lot, especially, I think, in the first 10 minutes of this first period, because that pressure's not going anywhere. Regardless of, if St. Louis gets the first goal or if Winnipeg gets the first goal, there's still that pressure to perform. But the thing that I really like from Winnipeg is, yes, they played a number of big games this year and have been able to come out on top in those. But they haven't strayed. They haven't let the adrenaline or the pressure of the moment get to them. They've stayed in the structure that gave them the success. They didn't start running around looking for hits. They didn't start running around looking for offense. They didn't stretch the ice open to try to find offense where there wasn't offense. They made the smart play when the smart play needed to be made, and that just speaks to experience, I think. And you talk about Adam Lowry, 49 games of playoff experience, and obviously that's going to be something that Winnipeg leans on as they start this series.
Where do you think that this game and ultimately this series is going to be won? I'll start. and it's a quote from Mark Scheifele because Winnipeg has been so good at this all year. We haven't tried to overcomplicate the game. We're a tough team when we play in the O-zone. Hold on to pucks and make other teams defend. You can talk about defending inside your own zone. You have to be good there, no question about it. You have to generate speed through the neutral ice. But Winnipeg has done such a real good job of doing all of that by playing into the offensive zone, the attacking zone this year. I think for Winnipeg, that's going to be the key for them in this game and in the series. How much time are they spending in the blue zone? Because if they're there a lot, they're not in theirs.
Yeah, absolutely. Best way to defend is to play a great offensive game. But on top of that, and this has been part of what's made Winnipeg so good, is they've had that F3 support. They've had that forward support so that their defensemen can be as active along the walls and holding the line as possible. St. Louis has some players that in transition can be dangerous. So for Winnipeg, yes, it's making sure that they're good in the offensive end. Yes, good in their defensive end. But I think it's those areas, the tops of the circles to the blue line in both zones. If Winnipeg's good there and doesn't give up a whole lot, then they're going to put themselves in a good spot. And of course, middle ice has something to do with that as well.
This place is crazy right now.
I love this.
Jazz right up on the decibel meter. They're at 112. That's the highest I've seen. And the Jets are now taking to the ice, as are the St. Louis Blues. It is a whiteout in April in downtown Winnipeg. Okay, power play. Again, let's talk about an area that hasn't been very good. But all you need is maybe one goal a night, a timely goal in this series here and there. And the power play, I think, could redeem itself.
Yeah, 2 for 10 over the last 5 games. And like you said, you just need one. You just need one at the right moment. I mean, this year is this year, last year's last year. But you look at game 1 against Colorado, and Winnipeg's a big goal from Kyle Connor on the power play was what really kind of opened that game up and gave Winnipeg a little bit of a cushion to work with that they ended up needing all of. So, yes, absolutely, the power play will need to be an asset for the Winnipeg Jets. Coaches will always say they'll want their penalty kill rolling versus their power play if they had to choose between the two, but having both is nice. Obviously, a little bit of a change on the Jets' power play that I think they're still adjusting to an extent without Nikolai Ehlers and Gabriel Velarde involved, but they took some reps yesterday in practice. I'm sure they've done a whole lot of video. It's just a matter of executing at this point.
I don't know how far this series is going to go. Nobody's asked me for a prediction in game numbers, so I won't provide one. But I will say this. The longer it goes, I do believe the Winnipeg Jets' depth will shine through and help them win this series.
That was a big part of how they were able to beat St. Louis earlier in this season and take 3 of 4 from them in the season series. But like we said, the season series doesn't really mean a whole lot. It's nearly time to drop the puck here. You can hear the MVP chants. They just announced Connor Hellebuck as the starting goaltender for the Winnipeg Jets. This is my favorite time of year. The crowd's activated. This is what Winnipeg's been waiting to get back to since that series against Colorado ended in this building.
A couple of things to tick off. Speed for Winnipeg. Forecheck we talked about. Really stifling that top line led by Robert Thomas. If you can do that, I think you take away a lot of the offense, and then you can concentrate on Jordan Kyrou and certainly the matchups. And as they've always said, as Adam Lowry did as well, if each line wins their matchup, then we'll be in a good spot. So you win your matchup against whoever it is, because it might not be the matchup. Certainly Jim Montgomery was talking about that you're going to want or get on the road, and there will be 2 games on the road coming up in this series as well. Well, we're done talking for the moment. Downstairs to Soul Bear for the 2 anthems tonight.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
Our referees for tonight's game are Francis Sharon and Graham Skilleter. On the lines, John McIsaac and Ryan Daisy. Let's have a look at the starting lineups. They're brought to you by Windeck. Do it once, do it right. Visit windeck.ca to do that. As always, here's Mitchell.
Thank you, Paul. Jordan Binnington for the St. Louis Blues, 28, 22, and 5 in the regular season with a .900 save percentage. On the blue line, it's Philip Broberg and Justin Falk. And up front, Alexei Toropchenko, Radek Faksa, and Nathan Walker. For the Winnipeg Jets, 47, 12, and 3 this season was Connor Hellebuck with a .925 save percentage. He gets the call in goal. Logan Stanley and Luke Shen on the blue line, and up front, Nino Niederreiter, Vladislav Nemestikov, and Cole Perfetti.
Opening faceoff is brought to you by Wallace & Wallace. For all your residential or commercial perimeter security needs, contact the experts today at wallacefences.com. Teams will come to center ice to get it started. Jets are in dark blue, Hellebuck down to our right. Blues are in white, Binnington down to our left. Jets are flying from our broadcast right to left. And we are just about ready to go. Puck is dropped, and it's showtime from downtown Winnipeg. The whiteout has enveloped the city. Game 1 is underway in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Glad to have you along on Power 97 and 680 CJOB. How do you folks tuning in on satellite radio and on the NHL app across North America and worldwide? Set down inside that Winnipeg end to the near side. It's pushed along the boards here. Toropchenko trying to get it out along the boards. He's flattened. And Falk trying to hold the line to the near side. Niederreiter is there to try to dig it off the wall. 3 Blues are there. 3 Jets now. 4 Jets are there. Still inside the Winnipeg end, just along the blue line and just inside. Came back to Falk. Right side point is shot off a stick. And it flies up and into the meshing and out of play it goes. 19:18 remaining in this opening period. Winnipeg Jets hockey brought to you in part by Winnipeg Clinic, Wallace & Wallace Fences, and the Dairy Farmers of Manitoba.
Kind of a smart maneuver there by Cole Perfetti, who nearly almost kind of engaged in that puck battle as a little bit of support for the Winnipeg Jets there. But as Jordan Kyrou came off the bench for the St. Louis Blues and got into the offensive zone, you saw Cole Perfetti peel out a little bit just to protect that middle ice.
Winnipeg wins the draw up along the boards here. They will try to expel it outside their own zone and stop there by Thomas. Thomas high slot, backhands it into where the corner. Buchnevich goes after it, rolls around to the near side. Nice stick lift there by Neighbors. He got felled by Morrissey. Play continues. Puck goes to the far side. Scheifele tried to avoid a check there from Buchnevich. They collided. Goes into where the corner. Some heavy hitting going on. Thomas back out in front. Neighbors shoots, and it's off a stick and just wide. St. Louis buzzing around. Parayko tried to pinch in to hold the line, gave up the puck. Scheifele will shovel it in toward the middle, onto the far side now for Iafallo. He'll backhand it down inside that St. Louis end, and for the first time it's in the Blues territory. Not for very long though, out towards center ice, swept in there, and set back inside of that Winnipeg Jets end. Snuggerud will do that. Winnipeg will dump it back in, but they were on their side of center ice. And we'll get an icing call against the Jets. 18-24 remaining in this first period. No score.
Looks like Scott O'Neill looking for the Thomas line up against the Mark Scheifele line. And obviously this first shift, you see the Thomas line kind of go to work physically against the Scheifele line. No doubt trying to get Winnipeg's top line kind of off their game. And a bit of a scary moment when Buchnevich went after Mark Scheifele, nearly a knee-on-knee collision there.
Both kind of went down and both got back up, so I think both fan bases and the teams on the benches were glad to see that. Winnipeg went to the draw, swiftly out towards center ice in Appleton. He'll backhand it down inside that St. Louis end. Binnington will play it around on the far side. Tapped up into the middle and snapped back inside that Winnipeg end. Kyrou passed it off, retrieving the puck back inside his own zone. Lowry to the near side for Sandberg. His pass back into the middle, now shoveled out towards center ice nicely there by Pionk for Lowry. He almost barreled Leddy right over, got the puck down deep and came back for the line. Handled there by Morrissey, rims it around back and behind the net. Stopped by St. Louis. Leddy curled back in behind his own goal. He'll outlet it to the far side, and now St. Louis is out towards center ice. Snapped in by Zach Bolduc off his stick and down inside the Winnipeg end. Hellebuyck just about gave it away. Winnipeg managed to corral the puck, and it's backhanded down by Morgan Barron safely. Not enough for icing. Winnipeg will make some changes in the back end. Parayko back in behind his own net, being watched by Jared Anderson-Dolan. Fans are trying to help out. We played almost 3 minutes of this opening period. No score, no scoring chances really for either team. Parayko still sheltered back in behind his own net. Now he moves it to the far side for Faxa. Break wide to the near side for Kyrou. He'll sweep it down inside that Winnipeg end. Finishes his check on him is Stanley. Rolled around to the far side, darting away from some traffic. Nice pass there. Anderson-Dolan on the far side for Nemesnikov. Squirrels down inside that St. Louis end. Broberg in on him after it as well to help out is Perfetti, trying to dig it out of some skates. Braden Shen is there as well. Saber rattling going on back in behind that St. Louis net. And then Perfetti tripped up, no call. Snatching the puck, though, is Niederreiter. Rolls out of the corner. Niederreiter shooting! And he just put it wide. Came back toward the line. Held by Luke Shen. Tapped around gently into where the corner after goes Perfetti for Nemesnikov. Second line here for Winnipeg, buzzing around and churning. Back toward the line, Sandberg on the far side. Perfetti, a pass was there, was taken off his stick. He fights for it, found it in some skates. Over to the far side for Nemesnikov. Rattled around back in behind that St. Louis net. Falk after the puck. Now for Kyrou, gave it away. Scheifele off the bench, shoots off a skate. Grabbed on the far side again and poked into where the corner. And we're going to get a stoppage of play, as it was gloved ahead by the Winnipeg Jets to the advantage of the Jets. And the face-off will come outside of that St. Louis blue line. 16:02 remaining in this opening period. No score.
That's what you like to see from the Winnipeg Jets, getting involved in that offensive zone. And Cole Perfetti takes a big hit from two St. Louis Blues to make the play and get the puck off the wall. And that allows Winnipeg to kind of churn a little bit, leading to the Niederreiter chance. And how about Perfetti's coming around the net, and he gets his stick kind of lodged in the netting. But it almost works out for Winnipeg, because if Scheifele's shot as he came off the bench gets through that last layer, Cole Perfetti's by himself in front of Binnington.
Sandberg will snap it in from center. Hard rim around, stopped partially by Binnington, but it trickled into where the corner. Faxa's there, rolled it around to the near side, up along the boards, out toward the line, kept alive there by Sandberg. His shot in and out of the glove of Binnington, swept into where the corner. The fight will start there. St. Louis wins that again and out towards center ice. Neil Pionk rotates to the near side, came away with the puck. Now for Alex Iafallo. Came off the boards into where the middle of the ice. He'll send it back inside his own zone for Pionk. Changing on the fly is happening for St. Louis. Shot in by Pionk, and he'll peel off, exit stage right for a line change. Dumped around the far side, pulled off the wall there by Buchnevich. Tried a long lead pass for Neighbors. Neighbors will get to the puck to the near side and backhand it inside that Winnipeg end. Robert Thomas goes after it, tried to fish it away, taking off his stick, and slithering through his own slot is Kyle Connor. Makes a couple moves, curled back into where the corner, and dropped the puck back in behind his own net for Morrissey. He direct to the near side for Scheifele. Ticked off the skate, right there to grab that and wheel it out towards center ice is Connor. He didn't like the read. Scheifele broke his stick, he discards that, heads off on a line change. Now tapped ahead for Appleton. He'll dump it in. Lowry charges in and hits Ryan Suter. Fans like that check. Bounced into where the corner. Appleton back toward the line. Pionk moving and shooting. It hit a body out in front and a redirect again on the putback by Tanev. That hit a body. Tanev to the puck in the corner. Back out in front on a bad angle try. It went off the side of the net. Up and into the meshing. And on a play it goes. 14:32 remaining in the opening period. No score, and Adam Lowry has thrown a couple of big body checks already. He blew up Letty at the blue line, and then Ryan Suter just moments ago.
We talked about Lowry's playoff experience in here. It's not like he's going to be out there looking for checks, but when you get an opportunity on the forecheck, especially to go up against the other team's defense, you have to complete that check and finish it, and Adam Lowry does exactly that. The crowd loves it, and I think this shot from Pionk actually hits Lowry kind of right in the chest. Otherwise, I don't know if Jordan Binnington was going to be able to see that thing.
Face off to the left of Binnington. Barron will take the draw against Shen. For Broberg into where the corner. He alley-oops it out towards center ice. Bouncing puck settled down by Joseph. On the far side for Sundqvist. Kicked it from his skate to his stick. Curls up in the corner, put it back toward the line. Shot came in. Stopped by Hellebuck. That came off the stick of Zach Bolduc coming in late. Winnipeg will expel it back out towards center ice. Broberg wheels back inside his own zone. Far side for Oxer Sundqvist. Moved up ahead for Joseph. And he will just softly send it down inside that Winnipeg end. After it goes, Gustafsson rolled it around to the near side for his defenseman, and Sandberg didn't like the read. Indirected along the back wall for his deep partner in Pionk. Now for Sandberg. He escaped the check, got towards center ice, and twisted down inside that Blues end. Rolled to the far side, picked up by Perfetti in the slot, shoots, and he put it off his stick and wide. Grabbed off the back wall, fighting for the plaque as Niederreiter. He had some space, turns and fires out of the corner. That just swept wide. Back with the line. Shen shoots, deflected in front, and stopped by Binnington. And the rebound dumped all the way down. Foot race for the plaque. Luke Shen will win that. Roll it around to the near side for Stanley. Stanley moved it up along the boards, but that hit a stick. And did so of Snuggerud. Stanley retrieved the puck once again for Luke Shen. Up along the board to the far side for Fetty. Tried to put it in toward the middle and hit. Nemestikov coming through the lane. Taken out of harm's way by Parayko and sent back off the boards out towards center ice. Winnipeg trying to pass back inside their own zone and miss Morrissey, and he'll have to go back to retrieve that. Both teams will make a change.
I think if you're Winnipeg, especially the players, you're happy now. You've had a shift or two. You've been able to get out on the ice, feel the puck, get hit, throw a hit. You kind of get yourself into the game, especially in this atmosphere.
Shifley after the puck to the near side, takes a bump there from Robert Thomas. In to help out is Iafolo, trying to dig it off the wall in the St. Louis end. Buchnevich is there as well. Steered it out towards center ice for Neighbors. Neighbors, there's 3 St. Louis Blues making their playoff debut in the NHL, and Neighbors would be one of them. Bolduc is another, and Snuggerud is the third. At center ice, tapped inside of that St. Louis end by Connor. Parayko will shepherd that puck into where the corner for Fowler. Curls back in behind his own net. Cam Fowler leads the attack towards center ice for Neighbors. Crossed over the line. Buchnevich back door on the far side, looking to spot one of his mates coming in late. Winnipeg broke that up. That was Faxa. Faxa out at center ice. Came up with a loose puck. Poked it back inside his own zone. Suter takes a hard body check again from Tanev, but he rolled it around to the near side. Faxa out towards center ice. Skipping inside the zone, though, is Koromchenko. He whipped it toward the net. Stopped by Hellebuck. It careened to the far side. Picked up by Appleton. Down the right wing boards, moving in, and a backdoor attempt here to the near side for Lowry. Couldn't get a stick on it. Good backtrack there by Radek Faxa. Back the other way at center ice. Sent inside that Winnipeg end. Controlled by the Jets. Right on the tape. Pionk now for Lowry. Lowry chugs inside the zone. Rolled it around to the far side. Pulled off the wall there by Appleton. Put back in behind the net. Overskated by Lowry. Dumped toward the line. Kept alive by Stanley. Shoots it into where the corner. Winnipeg wants a change. Letty back in behind his own net for Nathan Walker. To the near side now again for Sundqvist. And he will dribble that down inside that Winnipeg end. 11:20 remaining in the opening period. No score. Not for a lack of action, though. Some great physicality to start this one. Back toward the line. Sundqvist near side. Parayko. He shoots wide with purpose. Blocked away off the stick there of Hellebuck. And we're going to get a stoppage of play and an interference call coming up against the Jets.
This is kind of in that middle ice area and around the hash marks.
Winnipeg penalty number 5, minor penalty interference.
It'll be Luke Shen. You saw a member of the St. Louis Blues go down in that middle ice. And that's where I thought the penalty was, but it's actually behind the net. And okay.
11:08 remaining in the first period. St. Louis on the power play. When we come back, awaiting the game's first goal, you're listening to Playoff Hockey for Play Now from downtown Winnipeg and the Winnipeg Jets. Power 97, 680 CJOB.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
Grab your jersey. Grab your generic lager. Impressively standard beer for impressively intense moments. Brewed in Winnipeg by Little Brown Jug. Generic, the most domestic choice.
Brett Vickery here with Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. Spring is just around the corner, and so are those spring projects. We have specials on.
Hey sports fans, thank you for hanging out with us and chatting it up. We're thrilled to bring you the Playoff Pulse. Catch every single NHL and NBA playoff game right here while supporting an incredible cause, SickKids Hospital. Together, we can make a difference with every single view.
Holy Mackinac! Joe Bowen here, the voice of your Toronto Maple Leafs. Every moment you watch on Toronto Sports Insider helps SickKids Hospital. 100% of Leafs playoff stream revenue goes straight to their life-saving care, helping kids in our community and beyond. This is what Playoff Pulse is all about, bringing playoff excitement and making a lasting impact for those who need it most. So let's rally together and show sick kids we're in their corner.
Hey everyone, Easton Cowan here. Let's amplify our impact. Every like, share, and subscribe boost our donations to Sick Kids. Watch the games, get hyped, and spread the word to grow our Playoff Pulse community. Join us now.
Lowry will pounce on that and wrist it all the way down the ice.
Seeing a secondary replay, it was in front of the net where Luke Shen did kind of throw the stick into Bull Duke and knocked him over away from the play. So that's the call, not the hit.
Bull Duke onto the far side for Thomas. Tried to wrap it around back behind that Winnipeg net. Lost the puck. DeMello got squeezed by a couple of Blues. It came back toward the line. Fowler will hold it to the near side. Winnipeg will try to sweep it out. Fowler kept it in. Onto the far side. Controlled. Quick shot. They score. Robert Thomas on the far side. A great play at the line to hold it for St. Louis. And Winnipeg thought they were going to have some numbers to get it out. It stayed in. Thomas on the far side wrists it home. And it's 1-0 on the power play for St. Louis with 10:28 remaining in this opening period.
Yeah, very nearly a shorthanded 2-on-1 for Winnipeg. Instead, it's kept alive at the blue line, and Robert Thomas is kind of left alone in that left circle, and it's a bouncing puck when it makes its way over to him. But he just takes his time, corrals it, and just before Dylan DeMello is able to get a stick on it, Thomas is able to let it go. He ended the regular season on a 12-game point streak, and if that extended into the postseason, he'd be at 13 now.
So a power play goal for St. Louis. Excellent play by Cam Fowler to hold the line and find Thomas. Thomas is first to the postseason this year. Fowler will collect an assist at 9:31. Puck is sent all the way down the ice inside the Blues end, and we will get a icing call against the Jets. And Pavel Buchnevich will also pick up an assist on that goal.
And this is, of course, it's early, but this is another situation where you go back to, your experiences in the regular season. Being down one this early in the game is not a big deal. And I thought right before the penalty, Winnipeg had kind of started to churn in that offensive zone. So just keep doing what you're doing 5-on-5, and those scoring chances will be there for you.
Braden Shen will take the draw against Nemesnikov to the right of Hellebuck. Blues will win it. Back toward the line, Kyrou turns and fires from mid-slot. Stopped by Hellebuck. Rebound. They shepherd it out towards center ice. Winnipeg will bang away at that. Picked up by Kyrou again as Nemesnikov got spun off the puck. He'll backhand it in as Kyrou. Far side. Perfetti will leave it now. Sauntering out of his own zone is Niederreiter. Skips inside that Blues end. Pushed into where the corner by Broberg. Puck rolled around there. Niederreiter takes up the fight with Broberg again. Curling back in behind his own net is Jake Neighbors. And he twists it off the boards with some authority and out towards center ice. Winnipeg will tap it ahead. Here they come again. Far side Nemesnikov for Niederreiter. One-handed deep inside that Blues end, and he'll peel off for a line change. Justin Falk, break wide for Broberg, back to Falk. Toward his own line to the near side at center ice for Faxa. Redirected down inside the Winnipeg end. DeMello, a hard rim around the board. Goes off a stick and rolls back down inside that Blues end. Icing washed out. 9:15 remaining in the opening period. 1-0 St. Louis on a power play goal. Morrissey, good check there on Nathan Walker. Walker came away with a block into toward the middle and scampering out towards center ice is Fowler. He'll flip it down inside the Winnipeg end. Korpchenko had a half a step on Stanley. Stanley got enough to knock him off the puck. Iafallo will get it out towards center ice, and the puck will slide back inside. That's St. Louis end. Winnipeg further changes on the fly to the near side. Robert Thomas with speed down the near side wall. Stopped up into toward the corner. He will lay it around back in behind the net. Hopping to it now is Luke Shen. Some help from Lowry. Came back with the line. It's held by Suter. His shot toward the net. That one wide. Rolled back into toward the corner on the near side. After it goes Thomas. He's pushed against the boards. Hamilton trying to get it out. Finds the stick of Stanley. Stanley into toward the corner. Turned it over. Came toward the front of the net. Backhanded. Blocked by Shen. Out in front. Another shot whipped toward the net by Snuggerud. That's blocked in front as well. And peeling away with the rebound is Tanev. And Winnipeg will slow it down inside their own zone. Couple of huge blocks for the Jets. Shen for Appleton off his stick. And down inside that St. Louis Blues end it goes.
I'm not entirely sure if Mason Appleton knew exactly where the puck was. This shot from Snuggerud ends up hitting him right in the shin pads, but it's a big block.
An offside call at the Jets line against St. Louis. Take a time out of the ice and do the same on your radio. 8 minutes remaining in the first period. The score, St. Louis 1, Winnipeg nothing. You're listening to Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey for Play Now on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
You know what goes well with pizza from Santa Lucia Pizza. They've been the leaders in quality since 1971, and now they just keep winning award after award after award. So, sounds like they know a thing or two about making tasty pizza. How about this? When you're getting ready on game day, choose one of Santa Lucia Pizza's many specials or combos, and find out why time and time again it's listed as Manitoba's favorite pizza.
Santa Lucia Pizza.
It's all about the sauce.
Innovation, best in class. A vehicle that handles any curve in the road, navigates the bend with ease, and leads on the straightaway. Men's Health Clinic Manitoba offers evidence-based curvature treatments, new non-invasive and virtually painless male dysfunction treatments, minimally invasive prostate treatments, men's aesthetics and genital refinement surgery, no scalpel vasectomies, and more. It feels good to drive with confidence, authority, and maximum satisfaction.
Trust the experts at the only specialist-run men's clinic. Visit mhclinic.ca.
When the game really counts, you want to watch it on the big screen with great food and cheering fans. That's why Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs are Winnipeg's favorite destinations for playoff hockey. Want to experience a game in person? Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs are giving away tickets to the next home game. Plus, enjoy great food and beverage specials. Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs. Manitoba owned, Manitoba grown, and Manitoba proud. Canad Inns thanks you for supporting local. Proudly a part of your community since 1975. Enjoy responsibly.
Bet on Manitoba. Enjoy responsibly. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey on 680 CJOB.
Winnipeg Jets Hockey is brought to you in part by South Beach Casino, Boston Pizza, and Chamber Insurance. 1-0 St. Louis. 8 minutes remaining in this first period. Winnipeg will move the puck ahead off a stick of a Blue, and it falls back inside that Blues hand. Rimmed around to the near side. Stopped there by Niederreiter. Placed back in behind the net. Nemestikov goes after it. Bouncing puck. Good body check thrown again there on Nick Leddy by Perfetti. Snapped around the boards and rides up the glass into the meshing and goes out of play. 7:39 remaining in the first period. 1-0 St. Louis, and we'll have a rare face-off inside the Blues end.
Yeah, if you're the road team in St. Louis, it's exactly the start you want. Obviously, you get the game's first goal, but you've kind of come out instead of a physical tone. 14-4 are the hits in favor of St. Louis early on, and trying to find a way to keep that Winnipeg crowd out of it. And the Jets trying to find a way to stack a few shifts together here and, if not, tie the game.
Scheifele will take the draw against Faxa. Scheifele's going to be waived. Fans won't like that. Iafallo will come in to replace him to the left of Binnington. Faxa will win it for Broberg into the corner. Twisted off the glass up towards center ice. Puck is sent right back in. Winnipeg's going to be offside, so they'll check up. And now have an opportunity to forecheck. Falk inside his own zone. Drifted off the boards for Robert Thomas across the line. Skips across the line. Got into where the slot now for Buchnevich. Now coming in late was Neighbors. A backhand over the net. That is stopped. Rebound is grabbed by Winnipeg. They're a little slow moving the puck. It came back into where the slot. They give it away. Neighbors moving in. Shooting! And it's stopped again by Hellebuck. Bounced that off his blocker. Came back with the line. Chugging after it. There is Parayko. Parayko moved the puck back in behind the net. Thomas with the puck. Thomas shifting into where the corner. Thomas rolling around, back out in front. He put it onto the skate, now onto the stick of Fowler. Shoots, that's blocked by Iafallo. Grabbed it again, back toward the line. Parayko shooting. And it ricocheted off of Kyle Connor and wide. Darting to the puck on the far side is Connor. Out towards center ice for Iafallo. And backhanded down inside. That's St. Louis end. And Winnipeg's top line will make a change. St. Louis is going to be fingered for a penalty as they were touching the puck. And they'll go and grab somebody off the bench to send him to the penalty box.
St. Louis 63, minor penalty slashing.
Jake Neighbors for slashing.
Well, here's the opportunity that you're looking for Winnipeg. And Alex Iafallo dumps the puck in, and then it's just the follow-through by Neighbors. He gives him a shot as he's dumping the puck in. That's fine. It was just a little bit of a shove, but it's after the puck is gone that Neighbors sends the extra whack. So that's what draws the penalty. What the crowd didn't like early on was right after that face-off that Mark Scheifele was initially kicked out of. St. Louis wins it back into the corner, and as Scheifele's heading toward that puck, he almost gets picked, and he gets that shoulder right up under the chin. He's kind of motioning to the officials now that that's what he received, but Winnipeg's got a power play now and a big chance.
Jets are on the Prairie Battery power play. Your one-stop battery source is Winnipeg-born and Canadian-owned. PrairieBattery.ca. St. Louis wins the draw. They rim it around to the near side. Stopped at the point here by Perfetti to the near side for Kyle Connor. Connor at the hash marks. Curls, put it back toward the line. Morrissey headed back off for Connor. Down low, Scheifele. Scheifele scores! I think he tried to pass the puck and it went off a stick of one of the Blues and up underneath the bar on Binnington, who was anticipating moving with the pass. And Winnipeg will tie it. Just 16 seconds into the power play. And we're locked at 6:22 remaining in this first period.
They don't ask how, they just ask how many. And Winnipeg does a good job of keeping this puck in even after losing the initial face-off. And we talked about playoff experience. Mark Scheifele's got 21 goals in the postseason, now 22. And one when his team and the crowd really needed it to get themselves back into this one. I agree with you, Paul. I think he was trying to go cross crease. It goes off of Suter's stick and under the bar.
And Winnipeg will wrap it back inside that Blues end. Quickly to it. Lowry shoveled it toward the net. That hit a skate. Sent around to the far side. Kept alive by Pionk. Shoveled it toward the corner. Winnipeg after it again. Pulled off the wall and sent out towards center ice by St. Louis. They garnered that puck quickly, and Falk will just gently send it down inside that Winnipeg end. Sandberg rims it around out towards center ice. Fight for the puck there between Appleton and Broberg. Snuggerud felt the wrath of the captain. Captain gave him a shot in front of that Jets bench over to the far side. They're still digging for the puck. Under 6 minutes remaining in the opening period. Tied at 1. Winnipeg with the puck inside their own zone. Tanev will flip it out towards center ice. He was hurried there, and it bounces inside the Blues end. Leddy on the far side for Broberg. Fans are right into it again. To the near side again for Matthew Joseph. He couldn't penetrate the line. Winnipeg will put it ahead. Jared Anderson-Dolan moving in, shooting! And he hit the post. It grazed off of Binnington and hit the near side post. Excellent shot for Jad off the rush. Jared Anderson-Dolan back toward the line. Winnipeg will hold it. Shen shoots. That went wide. Back to the near side. Put back. Slap shot by Stanley. That drifts wide. Collected again on the far side. Gustafsson back toward the line. Shen moving in, shooting. Deflected in front. They score! Morgan Barron with a huge deflection off that point shot from Luke Shen. It's 2 quickies for Winnipeg, and they lead it 2-1 with just under 5 minutes remaining in this first period.
Morgan Barron didn't get to play in the playoffs last year because of injury. Talk about making an impact in game number 1. Makes a nice calm play with the puck earlier in the shift along the right wing wall. And then when David Gustafsson's able to make a slick pass to Luke Shen high in the zone, Morgan Barron takes away the eyes of Jordan Binnington, Gets right on top of the crease, and just a beautiful deflection. Luke Schenn puts this shot exactly where it needs to be. Barron makes no mistake, and all of a sudden, Winnipeg's up 2-1.
So Winnipeg has their first lead of this game and of the series. And they'll stuff it down inside that Blues end again. Baxa will send it all the way down. Icing washed out. Getting there first was Nathan Walker. Cuts the puck back in behind the net on that foot race with Stanley. Toropchenko is there as well along that back wall. Stanley with the puck. Stanley along the boards into where the corner for Luke Schenn. Trying to move it ahead now for Perfetti. Squeezed into where the corner. Schenn comes in like a big brother to pull over a couple of Blues and come away with a puck. He rolled it around to the near side for Stanley. Outlet it up along the boards for Niederreiter. He twists away from some traffic, slows it down, and Winnipeg will get a line change. Fanger on Jordan Binnington right now. Scooting through that neutral ice to the far side corner. Slap shot, stop, rebound. Grabbed again by Shifley. High follow, high slot, shoots, and he just missed the top corner of the far side. Kept alive by DeMello. Now rotating off the boards again as Connor. Connor fights for the block to the near side for Shifley. Back for Connor. Bouncing block. Chopped it into where the corner. Settled down by Shifley. Back with the line. Morrissey shoots through traffic. Popped off the body of Thomas onto the far side. And now Neighbors will send it to the near side. Moved up along the boards by Falk. And alleviating some pressure. It's shuttled all the way down by the Blues inside of that Winnipeg end. Blues are on their heels right now. Fanger into it, 3.5 remaining in this opening period. 2-1 Winnipeg on your radio over the Jets. Power 97 at 680 CJOB. Far side and Fowler snapped it inside the Winnipeg end. Rolled around to the near side. Jammed up along the boards. Winnipeg will shovel it out off the stick there of Appleton to center ice. Fowler cruises back inside his own zone. He'll leave it now for Colton Parayko. Far side now for Fowler. Kicked it from his skate to his stick. He'll alley-oop it down inside that Winnipeg end. After on the retrieve, Sandberg to the near side for Appleton. On his opposite side, he curls into where the middle of the ice. He advances the puck for Lowry. He chucks inside the zone. He put it back toward the line. Nobody home, and a line change coming late. Now out to center ice. DeMello will slap it right back in. Tumble around again to the near side. Pulled off the wall by Letty. Played back in behind his own net to the far side for Suter. Right on the tape for Sundqvist. Played into the middle for Matthew Joseph. He hustles for the Jets line. Came across the line. Twisted it toward the net. Hit the body there of Morrissey. Morrissey up along the board. Stopped by Letty, who pitched in. Letty gave it away though to David Gustafson. Good defensive play by Gustafson. Rolled it around to the far side for Jared Anderson Dolan. He takes a bump, but will wait for some help and wait for some support. Winnipeg will try to dig it off the wall. DeMello does. Rolled it around again for Morrissey. Outlet it near side for Barron. Out toward his own line to center ice. Lost the puck. Then it hit him again. But it's grabbed now by Bolduc. 2-on-2. Pass to himself in the slot. Shoots. And it's blocked nicely there by Schenn again. Grabbed it by Sundqvist. Keeps it at the line for Falk. Shoots. Stopped by Hellebuck's right pad. Back toward the line. Held by Bolduc. Bolduc tried to pass it into the slot. Bounced off of Schenn and a shot. They score. Oscar Sundqvist was standing right there, and it bounced off of Luke Schenn right to Sundqvist, and he risked it home past Hellebuck, and we're tied at 2 with under 2 minutes remaining in this first period.
Nobody on the Winnipeg Jets could really get a hold of this puck, and St. Louis has kept trying to send pucks toward Connor Hellebuck, and Luke Schenn's able to get this one to go off of his skate, and it just takes a bunch of spin right off his skate, lands in front of him and shoots forward. So when he goes to swat it away with his stick, it's just out of his reach and ends up right where you just don't want it to go in that slot. And it's Oscar Sundqvist, who maybe not known for the goal scoring, but in a big moment comes up big for his team to tie the game.
He's one of the St. Louis Blues that was there in 2019 to win the Cup. So he has some experience in big games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Winnipeg behind their own net. Luke Schenn up along the board to the far side and out towards center ice. Niederreiter across the line. Domestikov protects the puck, crossed over the line, heads it back for Niederreiter. He takes a bump for Domestikov. Coming in late to the near side, Stanley. Stanley reaches for the puck, hauls it in, put it back in behind the net. At the side of the net, backhanded there by Perfetti. Stopped by Binnington. Pushed into where the corner is Perfetti. Swirling after it now is Domestikov. Back with the line, Sandberg. Far side, Pionk off the bench. His shot ricochets off a body, up and over the back glass, and out of play it goes. And then finishing his check on Radek Faksa, who blocked that shot, is Nito Niederreiter. And the linesman will move in to break that up. But a flurry of goals here. 4 goals scored in 9 minutes of this period, but nothing settled. 1:03 remaining in the first. Winnipeg 2, St. Louis 2. You're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
You can now get your local news from 680 CJOB instantly on Amazon Alexa. Just add CJOB to your flash briefings on any Alexa device and say,
Alexa, play me the news.
It's that easy.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
For fun and reliability you can count on, your one-stop battery source is Canadian-owned Prairie Battery.
Prairie Battery is family-owned and operated, providing reliable and trusted battery power. When you want true power, come see Prairie Battery and the Prairie Battery team, or visit us at prairiebattery.ca.
When you need batteries for industrial, commercial, auto, recreational, marine, RVs, and more, it can only be prairiebattery.ca.
Got pain? Meet the Manitoba Physiotherapy Association, a professional organization fostering excellence in practice, education, and research with over 500 licensed physiotherapists and physiotherapy students in the province. The goal of MPA is to advance the profession of physiotherapy and to improve the health of Manitobans. So when you visit your physiotherapist, you can rest assured that you'll have received the highest standard of care. And if you don't already have a physiotherapist, you can learn more and find one at mbphysio.org.
Hey, this is Logan Stanley, and you're listening to Winnipeg Jets Hockey with Paul Edmonds and Mitchell Clinton on 680 CJOB.
Talk about the feature item of the game momentarily. 1:03 remaining as we welcome you back in this first period, tied at 2. St. Louis went up 1-0. Winnipeg scored 2 quickies, made it 2-1, and then St. Louis has come back to tie it. And it's lifted up towards center ice by Fowler on a face-off win. Winnipeg will try to brush it back inside that St. Louis end. Grabbed by Buchnevich, put it as far as that Jets line, broken up. Back the other way. Connor, far side. Shifley back for Connor. Darts into where the corner. Turns and fires off the instep to Parayko. And Neighbors will backhand it all the way down. This should be icing. And it is against the Blues. So Jet fans, tonight's feature item of the game is official WPG Whiteout 2025 Stanley Cup playoff apparel. Choose from a wide variety of men's, women's, and kids' styles available at any of our Jets gears locations and online at TrueNorthShop.com. That's official Winnipeg Jets WPG Whiteout apparel. Jets gear, the official team store of the Winnipeg Jets. Neighbors up towards center ice. Softly sent down inside the Winnipeg end. Hellebuck out of his net to play that around the board to the far side onto the stick of the wrong guy. Robert Thomas back to the line. Parayko shoots, blocked in front. Thomas had a whack at it. Another whack on it. Blocked there by Pionk. Back to the line. Fowler shoots. The slap shot and stopped by Hellebuck. And then some wrestling at the side of the net. Neil Pionk has bulldogged the helmet almost off of Jake Neighbors. And is there going to be penalties to both of these guys or just simple separation? No, they're going to call a penalty on Neil Pionk and bulldog guys.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be for. And this is kind of the time of year where you're rarely going to see both taken. It's going to be just one.
For minor penalty for roughing.
It's kind of the only way to really quell the pushing and shoving that occurs after basically every whistle. And the initial tie-up by Pionk is fine. I think it's when he kind of pulls Neighbors downward
in a headlock.
That ends up being where the call comes from.
18 seconds remaining in the first period. Tied at 2. St. Louis's first goal was on the power play, so they're back on the power play for the second time tonight. Winnipeg will win the draw. And scrambling for some free ice on the far side, Luke Shen, and he'll paddle it all the way down the ice. 8 seconds to go in the opening period. Fowler through the middle of the ice at center. Swings to the far side. 2 seconds to the near side. And that'll do it for 20. And downtown, And the Stanley Cup playoffs first period is complete for the Winnipeg Jets and St. Louis Blues, and nothing is settled, tied at 2.
Kind of a roundabout way to get there, but we're still on even terms through 20 minutes. And I think Winnipeg, the focus was trying to make sure that they use the crowd, but not, run out of position. Maybe a little bit of a tentative start and a strong start from St. Louis, but I thought Winnipeg's bounce back was great in that first period. They give up the game's first goal. They don't go away. They take advantage of a power play. And then on top of that, they give themselves a 2-1 lead. Probably cleaning some things up in their own zone, making sure that they get those clears from the front of their net when possible, and then make those plays along the wall as well to make sure that puck gets out.
Jet fans, you can continue to get ready for the Winnipeg Whiteout with Jets gear at TrueNorthShop.com. Choose from a huge variety of apparel, headwear, novelties, and more. Need a new jersey for the Whiteout? We've got you covered there too. TrueNorthShop.com. Let's have a look at the stat summary through 20 minutes. Robert Thomas opened the scoring, his first of the playoffs on the power play from Cam Fowler and Pavel Buchnevich at 9:31, so 1-0 for St. Louis. 4 minutes later, the Winnipeg Jets tied it on the power play. Mark Scheifele, his first of the postseason from Connor and Morrissey at 13:38. And then Winnipeg, less than 2 minutes later, took a 2-1 lead. Even strength, a point shot deflection by Morgan Barron beats Jordan Binnington. That point shot was conducted by Luke Shen, who collects an assist along with David Gustafsson at 15:02. 2-1 Winnipeg, but 3 minutes later at 18:10, Oscar Sundqvist, his first of the playoffs from Bolduc and Falk, ties the score at 2. That's where we stand at the end of 1. Downstairs to Morgan Barron. Thanks a lot for taking the time, and your thoughts on that opening period of the playoffs.
Yeah, it was eventful. Obviously probably a few too many chances we gave up there. Kind of felt like a lot of it was self-inflicted, so we'll try to clean that up. But, obviously physical and a lot of back and forth.
And Morgan, obviously injury kept you from being in the postseason last year. How did it feel to get on the board, give your team a 2-1 lead and score in this madness?
Yeah, it's obviously a lot of fun. The crowd's awesome, and this is kind of the hockey you want to play. It's a meaningful game, so definitely a lot more fun to be a part of it than to be watching.
Morgan, thanks a lot for your time. We appreciate it. Good luck in the second and third.
Thanks, guys.
Morgan Barron from downstairs joining us here as well. We can continue just talking about the power play opportunities. Winnipeg is 1 for 1, and St. Louis is 1 for 1, but they're on their second, carried over 1 minute and 42 seconds from the first into the second with a fresh sheet of ice. And St. Louis outshoots the Winnipeg Jets 9-6 in that first period. So nothing settled. Two teams are tied at 2. St. Louis outshooting Winnipeg 9-6, and some power play opportunities for both teams as well. First intermission report is coming up next with Kelly Moore and Dwayne Gilroy-Chuck. The score, as mentioned, Winnipeg 2, St. Louis 2 after 1. You're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Lowry moving in, shoot, score!
Hey, sports fans. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here on Toronto Sports Insider during the Playoff Pulse. Our mission is simple, bringing sports fans together to hang out, cheer, and change the world one insider at a time, while supporting SickKids Hospital in Toronto every single game.
Cheers, insiders and sports fans from around the world. The Playoff Pulse campaign on Toronto Sports Insider is uniting fans worldwide through the thrill of NHL and NBA playoffs. Every game, every fan, every moment counts. The link is pinned in the chat and in the description. Check out our campaign page. Donate if you can, or share it with friends. Holy Mackinac! Every click helps sick kids heal the future. Just by being here, you have already made an impact. Now, chat it up, keep it classy, and let's keep changing the world one insider at a time.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is TSI Mike, and now that we've got your attention, we're bringing you every single game of the NBA and NHL playoffs while supporting SickKids Hospital in Toronto through our Playoff Pulse campaign. Let's grow our global community. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell, and join the action.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Joe Bowen here, voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Playoff Pulse on Toronto Sports Insider is all about playoff thrills and making a difference, with 100% of Leaf playoff stream revenue going directly to SickKids for their life-saving treatments and research. We're aiming for 100,000 insiders to boost our impact. So subscribe now and be a part of this incredible movement. Holy Mackinac! Let's show SickKids Hospital we're here for them. Join us today.
Hey you, yeah you, Easton Cowan, Leafs prospect here. I'm loving these Playoff Pulse live hangouts. Subscribe and turn on the bell to catch every game. Keep the chat buzzing and let's cheer for SickKids together. See you in the chat.
Hey sports fans, it's TSI Mike, and we're uniting fans worldwide with the NHL and NBA playoff action while supporting SickKids Hospital right here in Toronto. Click the live viewer.
You have to be pretty precise to go underneath a stick, and then Luke Shen does what he's been taught: just put a puck on net, get it away quick. And there was all kinds of traffic in front of the net, and a great tip by Morgan Barron.
And then he gets a tough hop single at the other end of the ice on the tying goal.
Yeah, it's just a bad bounce, and it all started with they didn't get the puck out the very first time they had an opportunity, kind of got stalled on the boards,
like the penalty kill.
Exactly. The puck went back in, and the puck was bouncing around everywhere. Then all of a sudden there's a rebound, and it's just a little bit of a mishandle. It almost looks like he just didn't get everything on it, and it goes right to I think it was Sundqvist that scored, right?
Yes, it was,
right to Sundqvist in the high slot. Again, it was just a quick reaction shot that got put on net.
It was a little bit of a bad luck there. But as Morgan Barron said, there were some things to clean up that were mostly self-inflicted. So we'll see if the Jets could do that in the second period. They will need to, because the middle frame on the season was best for the Blues. But then again, these two teams only scored 2 power play goals in 4 games. So we're really starting with a fresh deck of cards. What did you make of the Blues' physicality? They doubled the hits in that first period, 25-13, led by their captain, Braden Shen, with 7.
Yeah, you know what? You could really tell right from the first face-off. They got pucks in deep, and they sent 2 forwards in, and they were going to be physical on the forecheck. And the place that I was really surprised they were really physical was in the neutral zone. You don't see a lot of those hits, but anytime Winnipeg D were either trying to get to the red line to get the puck in deep or on a D-to-D transfer from one side to the other ice, they really made Winnipeg D pay the price. And I think all those Winnipeg D are going to know they're in a series now after that first period, and that's exactly what you want your team to do, so give credit to St. Louis.
From that perspective, though, if St. Louis is going to try to maintain that type of physicality, that's a real tough thing to do for all 3 periods, and especially for all 6 or 7 games, depending on how far it goes.
It really is. And, give credit to Winnipeg. You could tell they made a little bit of adjustment where they started going back to the weak side, hitting the weak, net front D, and also, just trying to skate the pucks out of the end a little bit more than trying to make that pass where the D were going to be left in a vulnerable position. But you're exactly right. You can be physical as you want. It's a hard game to play for 7 games in a series or for 3 periods in a hockey game.
Well, Mark Scheifele did get a chance to take 4 face-offs. He got waved out about 4 draws as well. I kind of thought St. Louis would have the advantage based on the regular season statistics. They were the better face-off team, and they won 10 of the 17 to start. Although I don't know that on any of those face-offs that they won that they created something as a result of it. Most of it was done on their own end.
Yeah, a lot of those faces came off delayed icings or, pucks that Binnington had to, kind of freeze to get a face-off. Winnipeg was able to get an offensive zone face-off in the zone, and a lot of times Mark Scheifele went out against the 3rd line, the 4th line, and that's what you want. They've got to find a way to get puck possession in those and at least make St. Louis pay a little bit off a quality scoring chance.
All right, Coach, we shall talk to you in the second intermission. Dylan Sandberg leading all players time on ice in that first period with 8 minutes and 34 seconds. We'll come back with a scoreboard update next. It is 2-2 in Game 1 after 1 on Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Men's sexual wellness is an integral part of your overall health as you get older and a very private subject. At Buenafe Clinic, we treat your sexual health with the utmost privacy. When you're not comfortable searching online for men's sexual wellness, give Buenafe Clinic a call at 204-697-9013. Book your confidential initial visit today with me, Dr. J. Call me at 204-697-9013. That's 204-697-9013.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
Winnipeg, are you whiteout ready? Choose Hometown Pride. Choose 1919. Brewed by Little Brown Jug, Manitoba's flagship beer since 2016. Here's to building something memorable.
There's nothing quite like the playoffs. And there's no better way to enjoy the games in the comfort of your own home.
Top shelf, baby!
JS Furniture wants you to break away with these amazing deals. Save up to 40% off 4-model recliners and select reclining sofas, so you can watch every hit, shot, and celly. JS Furniture, serving you for over 50 years. 1725 Ellis Avenue in Winnipeg, and now open in their new location in Portage la Prairie. Visit furnitureandmore.ca.
Winnipeg Jets exclusive coverage continues on 680 CJOB and CJKR 97.5 FM Powered 97, the official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey.
Mark Scheifele ties the game 1-1 on the power play with his 22nd career playoff goal. So congratulations to Jason Krudish and Brenda Wojcichin who correctly predicted Mark Scheifele would score Winnipeg's first goal of the game for the Jets. And, of course, Morgan Barron followed up with his first ever playoff goal on a neat deflection to give the Jets a 2-1 lead that was somewhat short-lived as St. Louis would come back to tie it up. So Jason Krudish, Brenda Wojcichin, you win a pair of single-night tickets to the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival coming up July 18th through 20th at Assiniboine Park. Just one other playoff game on opening night of the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's a 7:30 start in Dallas, where the Stars are at home to the Colorado Avalanche. At 7 o'clock, and just a little under an hour from now, the Manitoba Moose finish up their regular season visiting the Texas Stars. Earlier today, the United States edged Czechia 2-1. Canada bombed Finland 8-1. So it'll be Canada and the United States again in the gold medal final of the World Women's Championship being played overseas in Czechia. 8 o'clock face-off tonight at at East End Community Center. Transcona at home to St. Barnabas. Reals are up 3-1 in that Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League Championship Series. NBA playoffs, Indiana over Milwaukee 117-98. Denver outlasts the LA Clippers 112-110 in overtime in the first two games of the NBA postseason. Seattle was able to double up on the Toronto Blue Jays 8-4, and at halftime, Valor FC a 1-0 lead over Forge FC in the Canadian Premier League. It's 2-2. St. Louis on the power play for a minute and 42 seconds when we return to Canada Life Center on Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
If it sounds too good to be true, well, you know the rest. But I get it. Some deals sound tempting, like this guy.
These prices are insane! The boss has lost his mind!
When it comes to your home's heating system, do you really want to do business with a company that resorts to gimmicks like this? You could call them and see what they are really offering, and then give Mr. Furnace a call. In fact, they encourage you to call around and get quotes first, and then call Mr. Furnace. You'll see why. Give it a try. Call 204-832-6243.
How has Ag Direct Hail become one of the largest?
Hey, I'm Mike.
And I'm Brett.
At Mid-Canada Fasteners, we've always done business the way we did when we started. Our job is to do whatever we can to get you back to work.
And make your life easy as a contractor. Now we just have more selection, more inventory, and even better parking.
Come on in where everybody knows your name.
For good old-fashioned service and a selection that's second to none.
Shop where the professional tradespeople shop. You're always welcome here at Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools, 1557 King Edward Street.
You are locked and loaded to Winnipeg Jets hockey on 680 CJOB.
So at 9:31, the scoring opened, and then at 18:10 of the first period, it ended. In between there, goals at 13:38 for the Jets, and at 15:02, the Jets goals coming a minute and 24 seconds apart. Time of the goals, by the way, for JS Furniture. Visit us online at furnitureandmore.ca. Ball change for both teams as we get ready for the second period. 1:42 remaining in the penalty to Neil Pionk, and a power play for St. Louis. Pionk for roughing. So 5-on-4, and the puck is popped back inside that Blues end. Fowler in front of his own net. Swivels out toward his own blue line. Dropped it for Buchnevich. Onto the far side. Tapped inside the zone by Snuggerud and rolled around to the near side. After it goes Lowry. He moved it up along the boards and one-handed off the boards nicely by Iafolo and out towards center ice. Fowler will drop it at his own line, and again, speeding through that neutral ice is Robert Thomas. Far side, now Rick wide to Bolduc, captures the puck, put it back in behind the net for Thomas, back toward the line. Fowler ambles to it, holds the line to the near side for Thomas, played it back in behind the net, intercepted by Sandberg, protects the puck, rolled around to the far side, and Lowry chopped it out. A race for the puck, all the way down inside the Blues end. Lowry will pick it up, back in behind the Blues net. Three Blues are in on him. He controls the puck, takes a body check to the near side, digs at it at the wall, and then had to give up possession of it. There was too many Blues there. Robert Thomas skipped across the Jets line and stumbled with a puck. It caused an offside. 57 seconds into this second period, tied at 2. 47 seconds remaining in the penalty to Neil Pionk. and Adam Lowry did chug off for a line change.
I believe Adam Lowry was one of the players on the first penalty kill of the game that was high in the zone that Fowler was able to keep in. This time Adam Lowry said absolutely not and used that long reach to chip it off the wall and then gave chase. We saw it a lot in kind of the second half of the regular season where Adam Lowry would kind of try and hang on to that puck deep in the power play team's end, and he did just that once again there, killing off a few more seconds.
Kyra will shoot it in. Neighbors will pull it off the wall back toward the line for Falk onto the far side again for Kyrou. Moves in, shoots, and scores. He had 36 in the regular season. He's got 1 in the postseason. And St. Louis, for the second time here tonight, has a power play goal, and they've regained the lead. It's 3-2 for the Blues.
Yeah, this one from the top of the circle on the stick side on Connor Hellebuck, and a couple of Jets in the lane, and Oscar Sundqvist also taking away the eyes of the Jets goaltender, and a couple of perfect shots on the power play, kind of from the flanks, if you will, from St. Louis, and their power play rolling right along after going 3 for 6 in their regular season finale against Utah.
So Kyrou, his first of the postseason. It comes at 1:13 of this second period. Time of the goal for JS Furniture. Visit us online at furnitureandmore.ca. 3-2 St. Louis. So Winnipeg back to full strength off the ensuing face-off. Set down inside the Winnipeg end. We'll get a stoppage of play. And that's going to be an icing call against the Blues. And we welcome you back, by the way, to the broadcast booth, which is for Namath Diamonds. For your diamond engagement ring, see Namath Diamonds, a family tradition of excellence in Southdale Square.
Kind of a similar situation to St. Louis's first power play goal. Winnipeg just kind of has to stay in their game and respond. And, you want to play with a whole bunch of energy, but you got to make sure that you're playing within your game, play within your structure.
Backs at center ice, crossed over the line, swings to the near side, shoots toward the net, put that wide. Winnipeg will try to bang it off the boards and out. Stays inside the zone on the retrieve. Stanley up along the board, stopped there by Parayko. Pushed into toward the corner. Stanley ties up Walker. Out of his own zone, Iafallo to center. And he'll send it down inside that Blues end. Winnipeg will make some changes on the back end. Binnington will snap it around to the near side, pulled off the wall by Connor. Sent back in behind the net. Shifley after the puck there, trying to reach the hole and in. Got tripped up by Parayko. Penalty coming up to Colt Parayko. Winnipeg will snatch the puck, send it around to the near side. Hellebuck to the bench for the extra attacker. And DeMello tried to get it in toward the slot for Kyle Connor. It was back in behind him, touched by a Blue, and Winnipeg will go back onto the power play tonight.
Shifley was kind of frustrated with himself behind the net because he didn't corral that rim.
St. Louis number 55, Leonard penalty for tripping.
But he sticks with it, and because he does, he's able to draw this tripping call where Parayko just reaches in to try to play the puck and grabs a little bit of Shifley's left skate, and the Jets forward goes down. But obviously at the end of a shift for that Shifley line, so we'll start with Niederreiter, Barron, Appleton, Nemestikov, and Pionk.
And the Jets are back on the Prairie Battery power play. Your one-stop battery source is Winnipeg-born and Canadian-owned. PrairieBattery.ca. Jets are 1-for-1 with a man advantage. They could use another power play goal to equal the output of St. Louis in this game already with 2. And the Jets also trailed by 1. They lost the draw and it sent all the way down. Here comes Winnipeg through that neutral ice to the near side. Beeling in toward the corner. Inside that Blues end is Appleton now for Nemestikov. Paddled around to the near side. Charging after. Winnipeg will hold the line. And Barron to the near side. Put back in behind the net. Appleton. Niederreiter goes after to the far side. Sit back for the line. Dug off the wall and held true by Pionk. Pionk at the line. Pionk walks into a slap shot deflected in front. And that just went wide. Barron after the puck. Frees it up. Appleton twisted around to the far side. Niederreiter up top. Pionk to the near side now. Nemestikov. Nemestikov back toward the line. Pionk. Pionk, a little head shake. Shoots. Blocked in front. Came back to him again. He'll hold the line. Far side for Niederreiter. Snapped off a shot. Blocked there by Fowler. And one-handed ejected out towards center ice. And Winnipeg will make some changes. And Pionk will fall back inside his own zone.
Really good puck pursuit by Morgan Barron. After going for that deflection on the Pionk shot, it ends up going behind the net. He takes a couple of hard strides, ditches his check in front of the net, and is able to get to that puck and allow Winnipeg to keep churning.
Connor for Shifley, dropped to the line, and now across the line on the far side is Perfetti. To the near side, Iafallo. Winnipeg will get it established again. Connor at the hash marks here, 35 seconds to go on the power play. Down low for Shifley, far side Perfetti. Perfetti spins away from some traffic. He will hand it back off for Scheifele at the hash marks on the far side. Scheifele stick handling, Scheifele surveying, Scheifele down low. High follow back for Scheifele. Scheifele back toward the line for Morrissey. Pass was too far for him. He had to reach for it. By that time, it scored it back out towards center ice. Here comes Mark Scheifele leading the attack across the line. Weak shot toward the net. Stopped with the stick there of Binnington, but Falk gave it away. Centered back out in front. I follow a shot as he fended off a check of Sundqvist. And he didn't get great velocity on it. It was easily handled by Binnington, and he'll hang on for a whistle. 1 second remaining in the penalty to Colton Parayko. 15:57 to go in the second period. 3-2 St. Louis.
I think Scheifele either took a bit of a whack or just kind of got checked just as he was trying to release that shot, so it ended up not having a whole lot on it. But good on Winnipeg once again to retrieve that puck and create a little bit off of it, and Scheifele very nearly able to kind of thread that pass through to Iafallo in the front of the net. I don't think Iafallo got everything on it he was hoping for, but Winnipeg looking dangerous on the power play.
Face off to the right of Binnington. Winnipeg won the draw back toward the line. Sandberg whipped it toward the net. Tumbled off a body again and just wide. Ricocheted toward the corner. Grabbed by Tanev. Now for Appleton. Back toward the line. Sandberg slap shot. Stopped by Binnington. He didn't know where it was. He found it off his pad and smothers that. So Winnipeg 1 for 2 at the man advantage. St. Louis back to full strength. 15:44 to go in the second. Blues by 1. And Winnipeg Jets hockey brought to you in part by Mid-Canada Fasteners, San Lucia Pizza, and Mr. Furnace.
You know, middle ice is so hard to get to in the postseason, but Winnipeg really seems to be sticking to that low to high and try to get bodies, and it benefited them on the Barron goal and very nearly did on this play.
Winnipeg after a puck on the far side. Tanev came away with it back toward the line. Neil Pionk lines up slap shot through traffic just wide. Kept it on the far side. Sandberg back toward the net. Juggled there and stopped by Binnington. Popped in toward the corner. Settled down by Leddy. Hard off the boards and out towards center ice. Pionk on the far side. Moved it ahead. Lowry slightly in ahead of the play. Or had Tanev not come all the way back out. Or maybe even Appleton. Take your pick. Offside, Winnipeg.
I believe it was Tanev on this one, and just a really quick reload by Winnipeg in the neutral zone, and Pionk going from strong side to weak side to Adam Lowry on the left side of the ice. And just as Lowry accepted that pass, Brandon Tanev was still about a foot inside the zone, just hadn't quite tagged up yet.
15:23 remaining in this second period. 3-2. For the Blues. The faceoff will be outside the Jets' blue line, near side wall to us. Barron against Nathan Walker. Scramble faceoff. Pulled it back to his own line for Broberg. And then dumped inside the Winnipeg end. Back in behind the goal. Paddled around there by Morrissey. Scraped off the boards, and Barron will hop out towards center ice. Lead pass for Jared Anderson-Dolan. Flying inside the zone. Back in toward the net. And it's stopped by Binnington. And then crashing into the goaltender there was Morgan Barron. Good body check there on Binnington. No penalties. Back the other way. And out towards center ice. Sit back in by Anderson-Dolan. Winnipeg tried to get the puck. Binnington was out. Had it fished off his stick, but he got some help from Snuggerud. And out towards center ice on the far side for Falk, and he'll gently send it down inside the Winnipeg end. Get off on a line change. DeMello rolled it around to the near side. Anderson-Dolan up along the boards. Chipped off the boards there by Barron and out towards center ice. Parayko back inside his own zone. Lead pass for Thomas. Too far for him. Icing will be the call against St. Louis. 14.5 remaining second period. 3-2 for the Blues.
It's quite a pass received by Jared Anderson-Dolan out the indirect in the neutral zone, and he tries to get around Broberg, and Broberg's able to knock the puck off of him, but good awareness by Anderson-Dolan to kind of spin around and get a backhand chance on that. And you're right, Paul. Morgan Barron coming in with a whole head of steam on here. Had to really slam on the brakes. He still made contact with Binnington, but it could have been a lot worse.
St. Louis will shuttle the puck out towards center ice. It's batted ahead by Luke Shen, and now they're going to blow it down right at center. Scheifele didn't want to touch it. Then blow it down.
Yeah, and then eventually, as an official, you just kind of have to blow it down because it's not really great for the game to hang out and wait for that. But Winnipeg's done a pretty good job, I think, of settling in after St. Louis took that lead. Winnipeg spent some time in that offensive zone, which is what you want to see. Just a matter of getting a break or two to go your way there.
Shifley will take the draw. Faxa was waived, so Walker comes in, and Walker will wins it. Back inside his own zone. St. Louis, as Kelly Moore told you, did an excellent job of winning faceoffs in that first period. Winnipeg has to be better in that department. They need to start with a puck. Fowler threw that neutral ice and across the line. On the far side, put on the brakes, lost the puck. Shifley around to the near side for Luke Shen. Up along the boards for Iafallo. Ties up his stick, it goes all the way down. And there'll be an icing call against the Jets. Iafallo didn't like that. He argued with the linesman down in front of us, and the fans agreed with him.
Arguing that there's a pinch on the play. That would be Iafallo's case.
I would think the other side would be the linesman saying that you took away the defenseman's stick to try to touch that puck as he hacked it.
Yeah, and the Blues player ended up getting that inside position. That's why Iafallo had to grab that stick.
Back toward the line. Shot came in, stopped, rebound, and it's loose. And hanging on to it is Hellebuck with that scramble in front. There was enough Jets there, and the only Blue really there is picking himself up off the ice, and that's Robert Thomas. And we'll get a timeout on the ice and do the same on your radio. 13:48 remaining in this second period. St. Louis 3, Winnipeg 2. You're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97 at 680 CJOB.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs Bracket Challenge presented by Skip is back.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And now it's time to take your shot. Face off against family and friends. And see if you can predict this year's playoffs.
McDavid shoots and scores.
Can you pick the perfect bracket and claim the ultimate prize? A trip to a 2025-26 NHL event. Sign up today for a chance to win exclusive prizes at nhl.com/bracket.
For fun and reliability you can count on, your one-stop battery source is Canadian-owned Prairie Battery.
Prairie Battery is family-owned and operated, providing reliable and trusted battery power. When you want true power, come see Prairie Battery and the Prairie Battery team, or visit us at prairiebattery.ca.
When you need batteries for industrial, commercial, auto, recreational, marine, RVs, and more, it can only be prairiebattery.ca.
Care to sample our delectable filet mignon?
Oh, no, thank you. Actually, I'd love to, but my dentures have another idea.
Don't miss out on life's appetizing offerings because of ill-fitting dentures. Get set right with Shine Dental. Their expert team helps secure loose dentures while improving your oral health, making eating more pleasurable and ensuring you smile confidently. Available at Shine Dental's 1104 Pembina Highway location.
Would you like to try?
Yes, I would.
Book today and find your shine at shinedental.ca.
The official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey.
Winnipeg Jets Hockey is brought to you by Shine Dental and Mr. Reuter. Not going to be long tonight. Paul Evans, Mitchell Clinton with you. 13:48 remaining in this second period. 3-2 St. Louis. Winnipeg did have a brief lead. St. Louis has led twice. And the Jets, to the left of their goaltender, will win the draw. Quickly out towards center ice. Tanev tried to move it ahead. Knocked down with a high stick by Parayko. Touched by another Blue. Can't do that. We're going to neutralize face-off. 13:40 remaining in the second period. This does not have the pace that the first did. And I'm not surprised by that, Mitchell.
No, exactly. You're full guns ablazing in the first on both sides. Just all the energy, the anticipation of getting to the Stanley Cup playoffs. And your game one of the entire Stanley Cup playoffs, really. First series to start. So you're going all over the place, and this game's kind of settled in a little bit.
Winnipeg will brush it inside the St. Louis end. Right back out and off the stick of Toropchenko. Falls inside the Winnipeg end. On the retrieve, Stanley. Hardrimmer on the board, sticked off the skate. Grabbed there by Nemestikov. Eluded a check, got it out towards center ice, but right on the stick there of Nathan Walker. The Australian will send it back inside the Winnipeg end. Grabbed there by Nemestikov. Carried out towards center ice, tried to advance it, popped off his shin pad, going up his Luke Shen. He'll send it all the way down, and there'll be an icing call against the Jets.
Yeah, Shen looking for the indirect there off the wall, and I think Perfetti just missed it. So that'll lead to the icing. They are changing Morgan Barron's goal to Jared Anderson Dolan. the assists to Morgan Barron and Luke Schenn. So I don't know if Anderson Dolan got a secondary deflection on that. I will say at the time that it went in, they both kind of, you know how you both turn and fist pump at the same time? That's pretty much exactly what happened. Barron did lead the train past the bench, though.
A big one in the draw. Luke Schenn campers out of his own zone. Rink wide pass, nobody home. Stepping up, Falk. He'll drive that right back inside the Winnipeg end. Rolled around to the near side. Back toward the line. Broberg couldn't handle that. Almost overskated, though, by Niederreiter. And he will settle it down for Stanley. Moved ahead on the far side for Perfetti. Turned the blade of his stick and has it flutter down inside of that St. Louis end. And he'll head off on a Blues or on a line change. Blues out of their own zone on the far side. Tucking inside the zone. Kyrou, high slot, cut stripped to the pocket, back the other way. Brandon Tanev with some speed. Tanev will throw it in from center ice, and he's going to go and get it. Tanev into where the corner of the near side now for Appleton. Appleton scared along the board. DeMello will hold it right back for Appleton. Shooting! And it's stopped by Binnington from a tight angle. He'll hang on for a whistle. So 12:24 remaining in the second period. 3-2 St. Louis. So the second goal for the Jets goes to Jared Anderson Dolan. His first of the postseason and his first as a Winnipeg Jet. And then it would be Barron and Schenn with the assists.
Yeah, great time forward if you're Jared Anderson Dolan. No secret what St. Louis is trying to do this game. After the first period, they had 32 hits. They're up to 38. Really trying to be physical, specifically, I think, on Winnipeg's defense, but also trying to make things as difficult as possible for Winnipeg's forwards, too, especially along the walls.
Winnipeg will hold the puck inside the zone. On the far side, Kyle Connor. Trapped it, got it, turned, fired, kicked away by Binnington. Into where the corner, scrambling there. Iafallo frees it up for Scheifele. High slot to the near side. DeMello moving right in, shooting! And it's stopped by Binnington. Sent back toward the line, held by DeMello again. Put into where the corner for Scheifele. Out to the side of the slot for Connor. Back toward the line, DeMello. DD on the far side for Morrissey. Paddled over the far side for Scheifele. Near side for Connor. Couldn't nail the pass cleanly. Connor now ducks out of the corner. He'll shoot it toward the net off a stick. Ricochet's far side kept alive. Sent back into where the slot. Connor shooting on a pass from Morrissey. And it's stopped by Binnington. And then flipped out towards center ice by the Blues. Excellent shift to Winnipeg Jets. Moving the puck around. And again, they will shepherd the puck back inside that Blues end. Blues with the puck up along the boards. Off the stick of Buchnevich. And it rides out of play. And we'll get a stoppage with 11.5 remaining in this second period. 3-2 St. Louis.
Exactly the type of shift Winnipeg needed, and Connor trying to use that quick release to his advantage here. He takes this beautiful seam pass from Josh Morrissey in and around the high slot, and he's kind of back. His momentum is kind of taking him backward, so he corrals that puck and just tries to catch Jordan Binnington just a little bit unset and try to sneak it underneath that glove, kind of in that pocket, but over the pad and beneath the glove, and Binnington just able to squeeze it.
Faceoff just outside that Jets blue line. Won by Barron back inside his own zone. Sandberg, near side corner for his D partner in Pionk. Up along the wing for Anderson Dolan. Couldn't corral it cleanly, and it's one-handed back inside the Winnipeg end by Sundqvist. To the near side again. Snapped with a backhand by Barron into the corner. Anderson Dolan goes after it, rolled around to the far side for David Gustafsson. Hits against the boards. Bull Duke will come away with a puck, put it into the middle for Oscar Sundqvist, and he will backhand it from center. And it lofts back inside that Winnipeg end into the corner of the far side. Barron fighting for it there. He will fray it up for Sandberg, who sauntered in front of his own net, got out towards center ice, trying to move it ahead. Anderson Dolan did. He pushed it inside the Blues end, but Broberg will get it back out and expel it through that neutral ice and inside the Winnipeg end. Sent around back in behind that Winnipeg net. Stopped there by Hellebuck. Changing on the fly with a long change. We are halfway through this first game one and halfway through this second period. 10 minutes just over remaining in the second frame. St. Louis at center. Cross-ice pass broken up and back the other way. Morrissey, he's bumped off the puck hard by Kyrou. Good body check in front of his own bench. Back the other way comes St. Louis to the near side. Kyrou will backhand it in. Morrissey came after him and laid a shoulder on him. To the near side, Broberg for Kyrou. Knocked away by Morrissey. In front of his own net there for Lowry. To the near side for Appleton. Appleton across the line into the high slot. Tanev tripped and fell. He was the intended target. Back the other way, Snuggerud across the line. Snuggerud moving in, shooting! And it's stopped by Hellebuck with his glove, and he will hang on for a whistle. 9:47 remaining in this second period. The score, St. Louis 3, Winnipeg 2. Back after these, you're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97 and 680 CJOB. Lowry moving in, shoot, score!
Hey Jets fans, this is your captain Adam Lowry, and we're ready for takeoff.
The Jets have been firing on all cylinders this season and are ready for takeoff. There's nothing bigger than the Winnipeg Whiteout, and you could be part of the action by placing a deposit on a 25-26 season ticket membership. Don't miss out. Secure your seats now by visiting winnipegjets.com/deposit. That's winnipegjets.com/deposit.
Boston Pizza is Canada's go-to place for playoffs. So this year, we're doing more than just hoping a Canadian team wins it all. We're manifesting it. We're planning the parade. We even got a bus. And we've got the sports bar dialed in, with ice-cold draft beer and an elite playoff menu. Like the guy in the movie said, kind of.
If we plan it, we will win.
So when it's game day, post up early at BP and cheer for the Holy Grail to come home.
Are you getting the most out of your backyard deck? Is it a safe sanctuary for you and your family? Or a muddled mess of spindles and splinters?
Hi, I'm Mal Duick, president of Windeck. Your deck's an extension of your home, so make it beautiful, functional, and make it safe. With Windeck's award-winning design team and low-maintenance products, we will give your backyard that wow factor while increasing your home's value. Windeck. Do it once. Do it right.
Hey, this is Mark Scheifele. Paul Edmonds and Mitchell Clinton are bringing it Winnipeg Jets hockey style on 680 CJOB.
Winnipeg Jets hockey is brought to you in part by St. Andrews Parts and Power, Wills Eli Ford, Mr. Reuter, and Windeck. 3-2 St. Louis, 9:47 remaining in this second period. Face off to the left of Connor Hellebuck. Scheifele will take the draw against Robert Thomas, and Thomas will win it. And snapped right off the face-off Buchnevich. It hit a body in front, never got through to Hellebuck. Rolled in toward the corner. Winnipeg will fashion that to their stick, and out of his own zone, Pionk up along the boards in a rink-wide pass from Scheifele off a stick and bounced back inside the Winnipeg end. Fans trying to help out here. Neil Pionk slithers out towards center ice. Moved it ahead efficiently for Scheifele across the line. High slot for Connor. Pass to Iafolo, too far for him. Paddled around to the near side. Neighbors goes after it. Neighbors after the puck. Pounced it along the boards. Back in behind. Pareko was there. He's being bothered there by Iafolo. In to help out with Scheifele. Back toward the line. Connor for Scheifele into where the corner, the far side. He will get away from some traffic. Work his way in toward the corner. Scheifele back out in front for Connor. He went in too long. Side of the net. A backhanded stop. Either by Binnington or Pareko. And then it's flushed all the way down the ice. Not enough for icing. Racing back is Sandberg to the near side. Pionk. He'll snap it back inside that Blues end. Out of his net. To play it there is Binnington. His outlet pass off a skate. Grabbed by Toropchenko. Flying through that neutral ice. Shoots it inside the Winnipeg end. Morrissey wins that battle. Sweeps it up along the boards for Niederreiter. Rink wide pass now for DeMello. And he will drift it down inside that Blues end. Falk will scrape it off the back wall. Roll it around to the near side for Broberg. He moved it up along the boards. Hit a skate. Stays inside the zone. Niederreiter on the far side. Shooting. Hit a body in front. Might have been friendly fire there and hit Perfetti. And then it's alley-ooped out towards center ice by the Blues once again. DeMello in his own zone, up along the boards for Nemesnikov. He slides it inside the Blues end, goes after it. Perfetti took a hard body check there. Falk is after the puck. He nudged the puck around Perfetti. Perfetti stays on it though. Sweeps it back in behind the net for Niederreiter. Niederreiter back out in front for Perfetti, and a shot. He just slid it wide. He backed for the line. Held to the far side. Now to the near side here. Shen winding up, shoots with a slap shot. And that one wide, came off the back wall. Picked up by Faxa. Puts it off the boards and out towards center ice. Weak shot back from center by Stanley on top of Binnington. And he will make the save on that. changing on the fly happening for both teams. Expelled down inside that Winnipeg end by the Blues. Jets will start back on the reload. Here's Appleton, skips across the line. Appleton back for the line, Shin moving and shooting. It's off a stick and wide. It went over the net, bounced into where the corner. Charging after it there is Lowry. He bumps with Falk. Appleton trying to get it back toward the line. Fanned on that. Kyrou will get it out towards center ice. It goes. Following up now is Broberg, and he slides it in from center ice. Hellebuck will stop that. Outlet it at far side for Stanley. Up along the boards now for Appleton. Couldn't get it inside the zone. Back the other way is Braden Shen. He'll snap it inside the Winnipeg, and the Blues will complete a line change as well. Now Luke Shen to the near side, too far for everybody. Icing washed out, so Binnington comes out to play it. Slides it around to the far side. Jets changing on the fly now. Neighbors to the near side, nobody home. Back inside the Winnipeg end. Pionk far side for Sandberg, up along the boards for Lowry. In toward the middle for Jared Anderson. Dolan slides wide on Leddy. Cruises back in behind the net. Bumps with his man there. Tries to free up the puck. Gets a little bit of help from Gustafsson. Shovel back toward the line for Sandberg. Back for Gustafsson on the far side. Turned and fired. Blocked there by Joseph. And the Blues are back out of their own zone. Sundqvist will try to pop it ahead with a chop and a backhand. That was fanned on. He grabbed it, steered it back inside his own zone. Bolduc down to the near side. Off the body. It's up in the air and loose. Winnipeg will try to shovel it ahead again with one hand. And Gustafsson, he got it inside the zone, but not for very long. Back to center ice, and Neil Pionk again will thrust it back in. Winnipeg will head off in a line change.
And you can feel Winnipeg trying to turn things here. They've stacked some chips in the offensive zone, had a couple of good looks. Kyle Connor, Cole Perfetti among them, and the crowd's kind of back into it, using that Go Jets, Go chant, doing everything they can. Winnipeg trying to grab that momentum right now.
Fowler just about misplayed the puck, came back to Binnington. In tow there was Kyle Connor. Binnington made the play to the near side again. Here's Fowler, hops inside the Winnipeg end, puts on the break, tried to shovel it back toward the line, broken up. It got there though. Buchnevich on the fill for Parayko, shoots, and that just missed the blocker of Hellebuck. Back in behind the net, out in front, as Robert Thomas was trying to get it back for Buchnevich. His stick was lifted. Winnipeg back out towards center ice. Scheifele chip and chase down inside the Blues end. He got buried into where the corner, and a hard hit there by Parayko. Back the other way is Thomas. He'll float it down inside that Winnipeg end. Goes back in behind the net, scooped up there by Stanley. Hard off the glass, out towards center ice. Kyle Connor is taking off the puck. Back the other way is Falk. Falk will backhand it into where the corner of the Jets end. Braden Shen goes after it, pushes one of the Jets against the boards. It came free. Winnipeg will try to poke it by the defenseman. They do. Race for the puck in center ice. Cole Perfetti had his stick lifted. Kyle Connor had his stick lifted. Back the other way on the far side, Kyrou. He has scored tonight. And he'll softly send it back in behind the Winnipeg net. Jets will try to rim it around to get it out. It came off a body right to Kyle Connor. He's been out there for an eon trying to get off with this long change. And he'll flip it down inside of that Blues end. It was gloved ahead to the advantage of the Jets by Vladislav Nemesnikov, and they will blow that down. 4:32 remaining in this second period. Timeout of the ice. We'll do the same on your radio. The score, St. Louis 3, Winnipeg 2. You're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Grab your jersey. Grab your generic lager. Impressively standard beer for impressively intense moments. Brewed in Winnipeg by Little Brown Jug. Generic. The most domestic choice.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
He shoots. He scores.
Jacuzzi Manitoba wants you to win back your purchase in the Jacuzzi Win Your Wellness Contest. Until April 30th, purchase any new jacuzzi hot tub, swim spa, cold plunge tub, infrared sauna, or massage chair, and if the boys in white are league champs after all 4 rounds of the playoffs, you will win back the purchase price of your wellness product. Contest limited to the first 50 Jacuzzi Wellness products purchased in April. For full Jacuzzi Win Your Wellness Contest rules, visit Jacuzzi Manitoba in Winnipeg or Brandon.
Innovation. Best in class. A vehicle that handles any curve in the road, navigates the bend with ease, and leads on the straightaway. Men's Health Clinic Manitoba offers evidence-based curvature treatments, new non-invasive and virtually painless male dysfunction treatments, minimally invasive prostate treatments, men's aesthetics and genital refinement surgery, no scalpel vasectomies, and more. It feels good to drive with confidence, authority, and maximum satisfaction.
Trust the experts at the only specialist-run men's clinic. Visit mhclinic.ca.
This is your front row seat to all the action for Winnipeg Jets hockey on 680 CJOB.
4:32 remaining in this second period. 3-2 St. Louis face-off at center ice. By the way, Jet fans, show us how you celebrate the Winnipeg Jets whiteout for a chance to win tickets to a 2025 playoff game. The Jets, if you show how you show your pride and whiteout pride, you can do it with decorations, costumes, or any other way. You cheer on the Jets at WinnipegJets.com/whiteoutmania for a chance to win tickets or to be featured in team content. Set down inside the Winnipeg end. Ice will be the call against the Blues.
We talked about how it kind of feels that Winnipeg's turning the momentum a little bit. Shot attempts going into that last timeout, 22-6 in favor of Winnipeg in the second period. So now the actual physical shots that actually got through are 9-5 in favor of Winnipeg. So St. Louis, doing their thing in terms of blocking shots, trying to make sure that Winnipeg doesn't have those clean lanes. But Winnipeg is still generating. I do like the fact that Winnipeg is finding the middle ice a little bit.
And they win the draw. DeMello far side for Morrissey into the corner for Shifley. Back for Morrissey off the stick and out towards center ice. Captured again by Shifley. Far side, Iafolo. Crossed the line, dropped it for Connor. Chipped it toward the net, that went wide. Gathered up by Shifley. Ripped around to the far side. Sharking after it is Connor. Rolled off the boards. Got double teamed. Sundqvist with it. Snapped it around the boards. Off the stick. It goes all the way down. Foot race to the puck. And it's going to be won by DeMello. Blues thought that Matthew Joseph was going to win that. It's an icing call against St. Louis. And the Jets may have gotten a slight benefit on the call on that one.
Yeah, DeMello, I think, with the extension of his stick, maybe got to that dot first, but perhaps it was Joseph that might have had the inside track to actually get to the puck first. So either way, a tight call, and Winnipeg will take the benefit of it and go up against a line that's been defending for the last little bit.
Ryan Suter snapped it off the boards. Captured there by Joseph. Rink wide on the far side. Sprinting to it was Sundqvist. He chopped at it against Nemestikov. Forced it back inside the Winnipeg end. Jets will go after it. Somebody's lost a stick. Cole Perfetti. Curling back in behind his own net is Nemestikov. Backhands it up along the board. Stopped by Neighbors in the slot. Back toward the line. Far side. Parayko moving in. Shoot! And it's blocked by Nemestikov. He dropped down and atoned for the error on the giveaway. Now it's rescued back in behind their own net by Neil Pion. Up along the boards, but he can't get it out. Two Blues were in on him. To the near side corner, Butch Davis. Thomas is there as well. Squirts back in behind the net. And curling back in behind his own goal is Morrissey. And he'll shepherd the puck up along the boards on the far side for Niederreiter. Winnipeg wants a change. Niederreiter stick handling with the puck. Now he turned it over. Back the other way. Here come the Blues. Across the line, Thomas. Near side for Fowler. Shoots. And it's off a stick of Neil Pion. Challenging and closing the distance. And up into the mesh and it goes. And out of play. 2:44 remaining in the second period. 3-2 St. Louis.
And I think Niederreiter knew Winnipeg was going for a change, so he's just trying to hang on to possession and let Winnipeg reload. And he wanted to, I think, play it back to DeMello, who is one of the defensemen back, but he had just kind of gotten onto the ice, so he was still establishing his own position, which is actually on the other side of the ice. So Winnipeg just kind of got a little bit discombobulated there. St. Louis jumps on it with a 3-on-2.
Scrambled face-off. Lowry kicks it into the corner to the right of his goal. Sent around by DeMello. Now for Tanev out towards center ice. Speeding inside that St. Louis Blues end was Appleton. He gets embroiled in a battle there with Broberg. It's tapped back in behind the net, rolled around to the near side, and Falk will flush it all the way down over everybody's head, but not enough for icing. Back inside his own zone. Sandberg for Tanev onto the far side. Tanev jammed it along the wall. Arcs off the boards to the near side for DeMello. Back for Tanev. Up the middle of the ice. Crossed over the line. Far side for Lowry. Shoot! Put it wide. Feed back toward the line. Kept alive by DeMello. Tapped it into the corner. Lowry overskated it. Again, flipped by Toropchenko out towards center ice. Sandberg didn't know where it was. It's taken away. Here's Kyrou busting in. Shoots! And it's stopped by Hellebuck. Jordan Kyrou in a bouncing puck. And you're standing still as a defenseman in the case of Dylan Sandberg. He knocked it free, and he was off to the races from the Jets blue line in on a breakaway and thwarted there nicely by Connor Hellebuck.
That's a big save for Connor Hellebuck, and he's got a couple now ever since St. Louis made it 3-2. There was a Snuggerud chance on the far side on a rush play, and now this one where you're right, Dylan Sandberg a little bit flat-footed because he's trying to play center field, if you will, trying to control that flip and dump out by St. Louis. And when you can't find it in your skates, you're right, it's just a terrible feeling as a defenseman. And Jordan Kyrou knew exactly where that puck was, but Connor Hellebuck stands tall for his team there.
Face off to the left of Hellebuck. Buchnevich will take the draw against Scheifele, who has to get a stick down first, and Scheifele wins it cleanly back toward the side of his goal. Winnipeg out towards center ice. Lead pass from Morrissey now for Scheifele across the line. He dropped it for Iafallo, kicked it from his skate to his stick. He will rumble into where the corner, got tripped up, no call, back toward the line. Neil Pionk wristed toward the net, hit a body, bouncing side of the slot there, grabbed by Winnipeg. Kyle Connor twisting and turning, stops and starts. Connor at the hash mark, still turning around, cut back move, flipped it into where the middle, swept away by the Blues, but carried at the point. Held there nicely by Neil Pionk, back into where the corner for Connor, twisting and turning. He lost the puck, rolled off the end of the stick. And chaperoning the puck out towards center ice is Buchnevich. He'll get it in deep. And a race to the bench for a line change. 1:10 remaining in the second period. 3-2 for St. Louis. Shot inside that St. Louis end. Binnington came out to play. After goes Kyle Connor. Dug off the wall to the near side here. Scheifele goes after. Perfetti's there as well. Scheifele to the near side. Trying to get it back toward the line. Intercepted by Faxa. And plungered back out towards center ice. Stanley. Rink wide to the near side to his deep partner in Shen. Back for Stanley. Long lead pass to the far side to Mestikov. Just redirects it down inside that Blues end. 40 seconds to go. Perfetti came away with the puck. Tried to get it into where the slot. Chopping at it. Niederreiter never got it through some skates to the near side. Carried up by Korobchenko. Turned it over. Sent back inside the zone. Winnipeg will stay onside. Nudged into where the corner after it goes to Mestikov. Leaves it for Niederreiter. Rolled around to the far side again for Stanley. D-to-D for Shen. Shen waits. Shen wrist shot through traffic. Stop. Rebound. They're banging away at it. And it's chopped into where the corner. Niederreiter got tripped up. It's touched by a Blue and Korobchenko. And with 14 seconds remaining in the second period, there'll be a penalty to St. Louis for tripping.
And obviously, it goes without saying, a big opportunity for Winnipeg. And it just comes off of hard work.
Louis minor penalty, tripping.
Because Winnipeg wins this puck back to allow themselves to continue with the opportunity. Luke Shen does something smart here. I think he initially wanted to get this puck to the net a little bit quicker, but he, instead of running the risk of getting it blocked, he kind of stops, pauses, takes one step to his right. That lane is there, and he's able to get that puck through all the bodies. And then Winnipeg with a couple of whacks at it. But when the puck comes free, Vlad Nemestikov goes to go get it, gets tripped up by Leddy. So 15.2 seconds left in this period. We'll see if Winnipeg can tie it there. If not, the power play will continue into the third.
So Leddy for tripping. Jets on the Prairie Battery power play. Your one-stop battery source is Winnipeg-born and Canadian-owned. PrairieBattery.ca. And the Blues will win the draw, and they fire it off the boards and all the way down the ice. 10 seconds to go. Maybe time for one last rush here before the expiration of 40 minutes. Morrissey, long slap shot inside the zone, gloved down by Binnington, left to the side of his net. Horn sounds to end 2 periods of play tonight, and the Blues in front 3-2 after 40.
Yeah, St. Louis really bearing down in that face-off dot, especially on those Winnipeg offensive zone draws, and able to get a big clear there to really limit what Winnipeg was able to generate in those last 15 seconds. But besides St. Louis taking the lead early in the second period, I thought Winnipeg likely had the better of the two chances between the two teams in that second period. A great look for Kyle Connor, a great look for Cole Perfetti. Jordan Binnington has the answer on the first one. The second one, Perfetti just puts wide. But Winnipeg will have, kind of similar to St. Louis, an opportunity to start on the power play going into the second period and a chance to get a big goal.
Well, let's have a look at the stats summary through 40 minutes. And get you all caught up before we send it over to Kelly Moore and Dwayne Gillowoychuk for our second intermission report. Robert Thomas opened up the scoring on the power play at 9:31. His first of the postseason from Fowler and Buchnevich. 1-0 St. Louis. Winnipeg then scored 2 goals in a minute and 24 seconds. Shifley on the power play, his first, from Connor and Morrissey at 13:38. And then they changed it from Morgan Barron to Jared Anderson-Dolan. They were both involved in front of the net off a point shot from Luke Shen. For Anderson-Dolan, his first of the postseason, his first as a Winnipeg Jet. Barron and Shen collect the assists at 15:02, 2-1 Winnipeg. But before the period was out in the first, 18:10, Oscar Sundqvist will score a goal. Bolduc and Falk collect the assists. Tied at 2, the two teams would take that score to the respective dressing rooms after 1. Only 1 goal to speak of, and it came on the power play again in the second period for the St. Louis Blues. 1:13 in, Jordan Kyrou, who led his Blues team with 36 goals during the regular season, scores in the postseason from Falk and Neighbors, and it's 3-2 St. Louis at that point, and that's where we sit currently at the end of 40 minutes. Power play opportunities. St. Louis is 2 for 2 with the man advantage tonight. The Jets are 1 for 2. They're on their third, a minute and 45 carryover from the end of the second to begin the third on that tripping call to Nick Leddy. Shots on goal, Winnipeg out shooting St. Louis in the second, 11-6, and the 2 period totals now belong to the Jets, 17-15 over the Blues. As mentioned, second intermission report is coming up next with Kelly Moore and Dwayne Gilroy-Chuck. The score after 2. St. Louis 3, Winnipeg 2. You're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
It's finally here. The last show with David Cooper.
I am David Cooper with the stuff that you're thinking about but are too afraid.
Hey sports fans, thank you so much for hanging out with us here on Toronto Sports Insider during the Playoff Pulse. Our mission is simple, bringing sports fans together to hang out, cheer, and change the world one insider at a time, while supporting SickKids Hospital in Toronto every single game.
Cheers, insiders and sports fans from around the world. The Playoff Pulse campaign on Toronto Sports Insider is uniting fans worldwide through the thrill of NHL and NBA playoffs. Every game, every fan, every moment counts. The link is pinned in the chat and in the description. Check out our campaign page. Donate if you can, or share it with friends. Holy Mackinac! Every click helps sick kids heal the future. Just by being here, you have already made an impact. Now, chat it up, keep it classy, and let's keep changing the world one insider at a time.
Hey you! Yeah, you! I'm talking to you! Thanks for hanging out with us. This is TSI Mike, and now that we've got your attention, we're bringing you every single game of the NBA and NHL playoffs while supporting SickKids Hospital in Toronto through our Playoff Pulse campaign. Let's grow our global community. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell, and join the action.
Hey you! Yeah, you! Joe Bowen here, voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Playoff Pulse on Toronto Sports Insider is all about playoff thrills and making a difference, with 100% of Leaf playoff stream revenue going directly to sick kids for their life-saving treatments and research. We're aiming for 100,000 insiders to boost our impact. So subscribe now and be a part of this incredible movement. Holy Mackinac! Let's show SickKids Hospital we're here for them. Join us today.
Hey you, yeah you, Easton Cowan, Leafs prospect here. I'm loving these Playoff Pulse live hangouts. Subscribe and turn on the bell to catch every game. Keep the chat buzzing and let's cheer for sick kids together. See you in the chat.
Hey sports fans, it's TSI Mike, and we're uniting fans worldwide with the NHL and NBA playoff action while supporting SickKids Hospital right here in Toronto. Click the live viewer.
the difference.
Well, see, St. Louis up to 46 hits in the game. So after 25 in the first period, they weren't far off on that total in the second period with another 21. Winnipeg up to 30 hits in the game now, splits of 13 and 17. But I would have a hunch that certainly the St. Louis Blues have to get out of that remaining minute and 44 seconds left in the Winnipeg power play. I guess it's 1:45 officially to maintain that lead, which they did a pretty good job of all season long. 35-2-1 with the lead after 40 minutes. While the Jets are in a scenario, Dwayne, where they didn't find themselves often in the regular season, and this is where I think the calluses that Scott Arniel has referred to often come into play. Jets only had 2 wins in 19 situations where they trailed after 40 minutes. No team trailed after 2 periods as few times as Winnipeg did. So that early third period power play, you want to score, but at the very least, you want to create momentum out of it.
Yeah, you got to create some scoring opportunities. You got to make St. Louis defend. You got to make sure Billington has to make some hard saves, get the atmosphere in this building up again, get the crowd into it, and carry on from there. They have to make sure that they get some pucks in deep. There was a lot of times that they had one puck in and then they were out right away. St. Louis was able to clear the puck. They need to make sure that St. Louis has to turn and get pucks deep, cycle some pucks, go east-west with it, get it back up top, and then they need to get some traffic at Binnington. There wasn't a lot of traffic going towards him. He's seen a lot of the shots that came in.
A case in point, though, that maybe one of the few times where Winnipeg did get an opportunity, and that was early on that nice little tap pass up the left side boards that Anderson Dolan took hard to the net and just missed with a backhander. I don't know if you saw that or not, but he's now credited with that go-ahead goal for the Jets. So that would be a double deflection, but that's the kind of daily double that the Jets are going to have to employ in the third period.
That line, the Barron line, has been really effective for the Winnipeg Jets tonight. They've been really consistent. They've come out of their end with the easy efficiency. They've come through the ice. They've got pucks deep, and they've really made St. Louis's D work to get pucks out. They've been physical, and that was a prime example. Dolan just didn't do anything special. He just chipped the puck in, won a foot race, was able to get inside and took the puck to the net. And that this time of year, that's what you have to do to create opportunities.
I just wonder, though, the longer the third period goes, if Winnipeg's in a chase situation, how much that line might factor into the third period.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how after this power play, what happens from it. If they do get an opportunity to tie it up, if things change, and you're going to see a lot of the Scheifele line, a lot of the Nemestikov line, a lot of the Lowry line, you might see Barron, kind of just rotate through, take some face-offs at different times. But that line's been effective for him, so Scott Arniel's going to want them to create some opportunities, maybe create a delayed icing for an offensive zone face-off.
And another area, you just took the words out of my mouth. Offensive zone face-off. The Jets just have not been able to get control off the draw. Out of 40 face-offs, the St. Louis Blues have won 24 of them. Robert Thomas leading the way at 10-2. And again, sometimes things do change in the playoffs compared to the regular season, but face-offs are one, I think, that remains pretty constant. Either you're a good face-off team or you're not.
Yeah, you look down the middle, you hear so many teams, they want to make their club or develop their club down the middle of the ice. But St. Louis has done a really good job. The centermen they have are really are effective. It's a big part of their game. It's a big part of who they are. But a prime example, Winnipeg had that face-off with about 30 seconds left in the end of the second period in that power play, and they lost it clean. They were able to get the clear and really kill any momentum they would have had going into the second intermission.
Yeah, I think it really says something that the Jets had a 25-9. That's not an advantage. That's a domination in shot attempts in that middle frame, despite the the fact that St. Louis went 14-9 in the faceoff circle. One of the things I've really noticed, Wayne, when the Jets have had their offensive zone shifts on an extended basis, and they've had a few of them in this hockey game tonight, Blues have done a really good job of closing off the ice on Kyle Connor. They have not allowed him to be able to utilize those incredible in-tight skills of his.
Yeah, they've really pushed him against the wall. They haven't been able to, he hasn't been able to get inside or get loose to create some time and space for himself. When he's twisting and turning, they've really closed the gap. And one of the things at St. Louis we seen when they were in here in the regular season, they're sticks. They're able to get sticks in passing lane, get stick on puck, and then they close. A lot of teams will get stick on puck, but still give Kyle Connor room to move, to create. And St. Louis does a really good job. They have a puck pressure and they have help right away. They have that second layer right away that really takes away the time and space for them.
Well, you do want to try to exploit what you can down low. Now, the Jets did score their power play goal from down low. But in perfect case in point how Winnipeg has favored low to high and then try to create chaos around the net. Dylan Sandberg leads them with 3 of their 17 shots. Do you see that as something that Winnipeg's just going to have to remain patient to do? Or, you don't want to become a one-trick pony to the point where the St. Louis forwards are just getting up in the faces of the defensemen. They have to know there's a chance that there's going to be some down-low pressure.
Yeah, they've got to keep utilizing that because it spreads things out and it gives an opportunity if they can get a loose puck or if they can spread out those top wingers. It opens up a gap of ice in the middle of the ice that there's some open space. And as the period went on, you've seen that winger who passed the puck up, follow the puck up, and then kind of get to the middle of the ice and look for a little high tip or look for a pass. I think that's something we'll see, but I also will. I think we'll, start to see where the Domestikovs, the Niederreiters will start taking pucks from the goal line and crashing the net. Just trying to put it in Binnington's feet to create some havoc from down low to kind of make sure that he doesn't think it's all going to come from the top. There's going to be some stuff that come from below as well.
All right, Coach, we'll watch for that in the third period. He'll join us in the intermission or the Pulse Game show, one of the two. 3-2 St. Louis with the lead. Jets on a power play for a minute 44 seconds when play resumes in the third. A scoreboard update is next here on the second intermission report on Power 97 at 680 CJOB.
You know what goes well with pizza from Santa Lucia Pizza. They've been the leaders in quality since 1971, and now they just keep winning award after award after award. So, sounds like they know a thing or two about making tasty pizza. How about this? When you're getting ready on game day, choose one of Santa Lucia Pizza's many specials or combos and find out why time and time again it's listed as Manitoba's favorite pizza.
Santa Lucia Pizza. It's all about the sauce.
In today's business world, hiring and retaining staff is a challenge, but Chambers Plan Employee Benefits gives you an edge. A solid benefits plan can be the deciding factor for job seekers. 30,000 Canadian businesses agree. Chambers Plan gives you the flexibility to offer comprehensive benefits with affordable, stable premiums. See how Chambers Plan can benefit your business at buychambers.ca. That's BUY chambers.ca.
When the game really counts, you want to watch it on the big screen with great food and cheering fans. That's why Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs are Winnipeg's favorite destinations for playoff hockey. Want to experience a game in person? Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs are giving away tickets to the next home game. Plus, enjoy great food and beverage specials. Tavern United and Garbanzo Sports Pubs. Manitoba owned, Manitoba grown, and Manitoba proud. Canadians thanks you for supporting local. Proudly a part of your community since 1975. Enjoy responsibly.
Winnipeg Jets exclusive coverage continues on 680 CJOB and CJKR 97.5 FM Powered 97. Bet on Manitoba. Enjoy responsibly. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey on 680 CJOB.
3-2, the St. Louis Blues in the lead. Jordan Kyrou, his 9th career postseason goal, breaking the 2-2 tie. Hey, Jets fans, nothing. There is nothing bigger than the Winnipeg whiteout. You can be here for every unforgettable moment by becoming a season ticket member today. Get access to playoff packages and pre-sales for round 2 and beyond by visiting winnipegjets.com/memberships. Taking a quick look at the scoreboard, Colorado and Dallas, game 1 of their series, still about 40 minutes or so away from the actual puck drop. Manitoba and Texas just getting underway in the regular season finale for the Moose down in Cedar Park, Texas. Overseas in Czechia today, the host country lost 2-1 to the United States. Canada bombed Finland 8-1, so the U.S. and Canada will square off for the gold medal at 11 o'clock our time tomorrow morning. MMJHL final, game 5 of the series in the for the Jack McKenzie Trophy. Still an hour away. St. Boniface at Transcoda with the Reals up 3-1. NBA playoffs, Indiana and Denver with victories. Detroit trying to come up with a upset at Madison Square Garden. They're up 80-76 on the New York Knicks, and that is late in the third quarter. Seattle scored 5 runs in the 12th inning to double up on Toronto 8-4. Canadian Premier League, Valor FC and Forge FC are in a 1-1 tie, and that is now in extra time. Paul Edmonds, Mitchell Clinton, next with the third period on Power 97 at 680 CJOB.
Lowry moving in, shoots, score!
Hey Jets fans, this is your captain Adam Lowry, and we're ready for takeoff.
The Jets have been firing on all cylinders this season and are ready for takeoff. There's nothing bigger than the Winnipeg Whiteout, and you could be part of the action by placing a deposit on a 25-26 season ticket membership. Don't miss out. Secure your seats now by visiting winnipegjets.com/deposit. That's winnipegjets.com/deposit.
Boston Pizza is Canada's go-to place for playoffs. So this year, we're doing more than just hoping a Canadian team wins it all. We're manifesting it. We're planning the parade. We even got a bus. And we've got the sports bar dialed in, with ice-cold draft beer and an elite playoff menu. Like the guy in the movie said, kind of.
If we plan it, we will win.
So when it's game day, post up early at BP and cheer for the Holy Grail to come home.
At Namath Diamonds, we know our diamonds. But what we do better than that is find the right one that makes you say,
oh, I love it.
I'm Joe Namath, and my family has been helping people find the perfect diamonds for over 30 years. Whether you're looking for engagement rings, custom jewelry, or repairs, we're here to help you. Because hearing,
this is amazing,
never gets old. Come see us today, and we'll show you why Namath Diamonds can't be beat. Namath Diamonds in Southdale Square.
All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Winnipeg Jets Hockey Club is expressly prohibited. Bet on Manitoba. Enjoy responsibly. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey on 680 CJOB.
We welcome you back to the broadcast booth, which is for Namath Diamonds. For your diamond engagement ring, see Namath Diamonds, a family tradition of excellence in Southdale Square. Jets start this third period in the power play. 1:40 remaining on it. Just underway. 3-2 St. Louis. 10 seconds into this third. And swinging back inside his own zone, Morrissey. Dropped down his own line for Connor. Darting through that neutral ice to the far side for Iafallo. Pass wasn't clean, and Winnipeg will be offside at the Blues line. So 22 seconds have expired to begin this third period, and Winnipeg is on and a carryover on that Prairie Battery power play.
Yeah, Connor kind of had to tuck that pass pretty tight into Alex Iafallo, who's coming down the wing on his offside, so just wasn't quite able to corral that on the backhand.
St. Louis will slap it all the way down the ice. Morrissey ducks a check, feeds it up along the board to the far side for Iafallo. Break wide to the near side for Kyle Connor. Here carried out of his own zone. Drop it now for Scheifele. Moved ahead to the near side for Perfetti. Across the line. Winnipeg will get it established inside that St. Louis end. Far side, Iafallo at the hash marks now for Kyle Connor. Played it down low for Perfetti. For Connor. Up top now for Morrissey. Morrissey to the near side for Scheifele. Scheifele down low for Perfetti. Out in front, a quick shot. Stopped by Binnington. It was slung toward the net by Connor, and Binnington prevented it from going in. Everybody thought, and I think everybody was on the edge of their seat thinking that that was going to go in.
I did too. Winnipeg gets the exact look that they're hoping for. Cole Perfetti kind of circles back behind the net as the puck is up top and becomes a passing option right when it comes to Mark Scheifele. Scheifele goes low to Perfetti on the goal line, and Perfetti does not waste much time getting it across to Connor. And Connor rips this thing. He gets every piece of it. But Binnington's just able to get across and get that glove on it.
Fight for the puck on the far side. Broberg will send it all the way down the ice as he won that battle. 35 seconds to go in the power play, and the penalty to Nick Leddy. Morrissey opens up inside his own zone. He'll drop it now, and speeding through that neutralized Kyle Connor on the far side for Iafallo. He'll hunt his way inside the zone and rolled around the boards on the far side, kept alive at the line for Morrissey. Tapped along the boards, taken on the backhand by Connor. Connor swoops to the far side, stops at the hash marks up top for Morrissey. Back for Connor, the far side, down low, Iafallo. He tried to get it toward the side of the net, grabbed it into where the corner, back toward the hash marks. Connor to the near side, looking back door. There was two Jets there, neither could get a stick on it. Perfetti and Scheifele. Far side Connor, penalty is over. Connor shoots from a bad angle, stopped by Binnington, and he'll hang on for a whistle. So Winnipeg 1 for 3 with the man advantage tonight now. Nick Leddy's out of the penalty box. Winnipeg Jets hockey brought to you in part by JS Furniture, Namath Diamonds, and the Manitoba Physiotherapy Association.
Oh, Winnipeg got the look they were looking for with Kyle Connor on the one-timer, and then even still nearly connected on the backdoor play. Just kind of goes between both Scheifele and Perfetti, but a couple of good looks on the power play. Some momentum generated anyway.
Tanev steals the puck, darts back in behind the net. Tanev still goes toward the near side corner, rubbed out there by Braden Shen. Waiting for some help, but he gets a little bit. Appleton back toward the line. Sandberg up top, Pionk to the near side. Appleton turns and fires! And it's off the stick of Colton Parayko out to challenge up and over the back glass. And out of play it goes. 17:52 remaining third period. 3-2 St. Louis.
Well, and you know St. Louis is going to try to pack that middle of the ice and not give Winnipeg much for shooting lanes, and that's kind of exactly what happens here as Appleton opens up and takes the shot. He's staring right at big number 55, Colton Parayko, who was able to get a stick on it. Sometimes you can use those as screens as forwards.
Back toward the line, Winnipeg wins it. It's held nicely by Sandberg. Thrust into where the corner. Lowry goes after it. Far side Tanev, back toward the line for Pionk. Pionk back for Tanev. Bad pass, up along the board. Shen can't get it out. Knocked down now by Tanev. Swirling after it. In behind that net is Lowry for Tanev. He reverses to the near side. Suter pushed him against the boards. Kicked it around into where the corner for Leddy. Up along the wing for Kyrou. Trying to get it out. Bouncing puck. Goes out towards center ice. Hustling there to pick it up. Kyrou's got a breakaway. Marches right in and a backhand toward the net. It was off the stick of Sandberg. There's going to be a penalty coming up for hooking against the Jets. Excellent pass in between there by Neighbors to Kyrou for his second breakaway of this hockey game.
Big 54, minor penalty hooking.
Now Sandberg for hooking.
I'd like to get another look at this one because from my angle, we're a little bit behind. I guess they'll say that, yeah, that hook kind of got in on Kyrou a little bit. It didn't look like it impeded him much, but obviously if you're Sandberg, when you put the stick kind of in that waist area, he's shaking his head. He doesn't like it very much. But anytime that stick gets in that waist area, it's so easy for the official to put that arm up. It's a tough spot for the stick.
So, back onto the power play for the third time tonight. St. Louis has scored 2 power play goals. They lead by 1. Back in behind the net. Thomas rolled it around for Snuggerud. Snuggerud will play it down low for Robert Thomas. Back for Snuggerud. Little exchange into where the corner. Snuggerud being bothered there by DeMello. Winnipeg got it out toward the high slot. They took the puck. It's marched out towards center ice by Morgan Barron, and he will just advance it softly inside that Blues end. Racing back towards center ice is Fowler. He drops it right at the red line for Thomas. Crossed over the line to the near side for Snuggerud. Paddled in behind that Winnipeg net. Bouncing puck. First one after it is Iafallo. He got buried into the corner. He wasn't anywhere near the puck, really. He was going after it. Back inside the zone. Buchnevich shoots, and it's blocked nicely by Stanley, who's a little labored. He got back up. Handled again. Fowler up top of the point. Fowler on the far side. Kept alive there by Thomas. Thomas back toward the hash marks, near side for Buchnevich, back door, far side for Snuggerud, couldn't get a stick on it, back toward the line, Fowler, near side Buchnevich, up top against Fowler, far side for Thomas, raked wide or almost in toward the slot area for Bolduc, knocked away by Winnipeg, and then Bolduc came over and cross-checked Iafallo on the way over to the bench. He's going to take a penalty call. As back on the retrieve was Falk, so they'll blow the whistle. And we'll get some 4-on-4 hockey. Not a very disciplined penalty by a young player in Zach Bolduc.
And I think they're checking for blood on Iafallo too. It might be 4 here.
Or more.
Yeah, it was away from the play. The puck was long gone.
It was an intentional cross-check.
The two came together earlier in the shift.
St. Louis penalty 76. Minor penalty cross-checking.
There's definitely a red mark by Winnipeg's bench. I wonder if they're saying that the cross-check or the hit in the corner, because Bolduc hit Iafallo in the corner earlier in the shift, and that was the one that you had mentioned, Paul. And then as they were going kind of back to the benches was when the penalty occurred. But there's definitely a red mark by the bench. Iafallo looks to be getting some version of repairs over there.
So the remaining 38 seconds of Sandberg's penalty will expire in, well, presumably without any other infractions. 4-on-4 hockey. Face off to the right of Binnington. And the Jets then will go on the Prairie Battery power play. Your one-stop battery source is Winnipeg-born and Canadian-owned. PrairieBattery.ca. Scrambled face-off right on the dot. Lowry can't get it. It's fetched there by Falk. He wheels out towards center ice to the near side for Kyrou. Across the line. Kyrou dusts it off. Pass to himself. Got around DeMello. Curls back in behind the net. Still has the puck. Jordan Kyrou back toward the line. Nobody home. And it bounced off the boards and out towards center ice. Ambling to it now is Broberg. He dropped it for Kyrou. Speeding back inside the zone. Kyrou shoots. Stopped by Hellebuck. Rebound. Back toward the line. Held there by Falk. Sent it back in behind the Winnipeg net. And Hellebuck will stop that. And the Blues to the bench for a line change. So now Winnipeg will be on the power play. Sandberg will step out of the penalty box right now. Head directly to the bench. And Winnipeg will have the extra attacker. Back in behind his own net. DeMello to the near side for Connor. Connor chugs for center ice. Crossed over that Blues line. Still has the puck. Lost it. Toropchenko beats it in front of his own net. And it's whisked away by Ryan Suter, and all the way down the ice it goes.
Yeah, Connor trying to be a solo zone entry there on the power play. I'm not sure if he was going to get over the blue line trying to drop it for Perfetti, but he saw some open ice in the neutral zone, tried to take advantage of it.
Connor will drop it for Scheifele to the near side. Perfetti back for Scheifele. Got tripped up by Toropchenko. Fans want a penalty, not going to get one. It stays into where the corner. Fighting for it. There is Scheifele. He rotates back in behind the net. Put it back to where the line. Iafallo. D to D to the near side for Morrissey. Back for Iafallo. Right side point. He surveys. Pushed it ahead now for Scheifele. The hash marks. Scheifele down low for Connor. They exchange. Connor rolls off the boards. Back toward the line for Morrissey. Back for Connor. Top of the circle. Shoots. It's deflected in front just over the net. Grabbed again on that first touch by Connor for Scheifele. Handed off for the line for Morrissey. Far side for Connor. Top of the circle. He drifts in. Back door for Scheifele. Broken up by Toropchenko. Scheifele first touch though. Back toward the line Morrissey. Far side for Connor. Connor stick handles. Surveys again. Connor looks for somebody in front. Shoots from the short angle. And that goes riding along the boards and wide and out towards center ice. And Bolduc stepped out of the penalty box. Were it not for an alert Josh Morrissey, he might have had a breakaway. Morrissey takes that away and shepherds the puck back in behind his own net. Up along the boards for Neil Pionk, and now for Appleton. Appleton at center ice. He'll try to shoot it in and does. He deposits the puck inside that Blues end. 13 and a half remaining in this third period. Back toward the line. Joseph can't get it out. Paddled back into where the corner. Broberg rolled it around to the near side for Justin Falk. Falk will move it out towards center ice and off a stick. intended there for Nathan Walker. Back inside his own zone to take a body check there from Joseph is Pionk. They fall both down to the ice in the corner on the far side. They both get back up. Appleton takes up the fight there with Sundqvist. Sundqvist trying to pull it off the boards. He fell down and squirts to the near side corner. After goes Sandberg. Got a little bit of help again. And Winnipeg reverses to the far side. And now Appleton will have a chance to expel the puck out, and does down inside that Blues end. First one after it is Niederreiter. Pushed against the boards and stapled there by Polk. In to help out is Nemesnikov. 12:45 remaining third period. 3-2 St. Louis. Finally, it's fetched and sent back toward the line. Sandberg rolled it along the boards, intercepted by Joseph. Out towards center ice he will get to, and he'll dump it down inside the Winnipeg end, and then exit stage left for a line change.
Stanley on his last shift blocked a shot with his hand, and he was shaken off.
Tanev on the far side took the pass, but I think it rode up and hit somebody at that Blues bench with no glass in front of it, and back onto the ice surface. It presents a problem for Winnipeg to continue on inside that Blues end. 12:23 remaining in this third period. The score, St. Louis 3, Winnipeg 2. Back after these, you're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Winnipeg, are you whiteout ready? Choose Hometown Pride. Choose 1919. Brewed by Little Brown Jug, Manitoba's flagship beer since 2016. Here's to building something memorable.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
The job gets done at St. Andrews Parts and Power. The savings on Coyote subcompact tractors are big, big, big. Brad has stock of Coyote CS Series 2220 and CS 2520 tractors. Plus, get 2.99% for 72 months, a free loader, and $1,000 off until April 30th. Get your Coyote subcompact tractor at St. Andrews Parts and Power, where you'll say, that guy helped me.
And I can help you too at St. Andrews Parts and Power.
There's nothing quite like the playoffs. And there's no better way to enjoy the games in the comfort of your own home. Top shelf, baby! JS Furniture wants you to break away with these amazing deals. Save up to 40% off 4-model recliners and select reclining sofas, so you can watch every hit, shot, and celly. JS Furniture, serving you for over 50 years. 1725 Ellis Avenue in Winnipeg, and now open in their new location in Portage la Prairie. Visit furnitureandmore.ca.
The official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey.
12:23 remaining in the third period, 3-2 Blues. And the puck is pushed inside their own zone and up along the boards on the far side. Snuggerud will turn it over at center ice. Back from the Winnipeg Jets. Tanev will knock it inside the zone to Lowry, moving in, shooting. Stopped by Binnington. Lowry gathers up the rebound, trying to get it back out in front. It's pushed back toward the line. Appleton now takes a pass from DeMello. He turned it over and it bounced off a body and pops back out towards center ice. 3-2 St. Louis. Winnipeg, the push is on, far side. Appleton will send it down inside that Blues end and roll it around to the far side again. DeMello into where the slot for Lowry. Lowry back for Appleton. Finds it in his skates. Twists away from a check back toward the line to DeMello. Shoots, deflected in front by Tanev. That stop. Great save there by Binnington. Back toward on the far side slot, and Appleton fanned on the shot. It's moved up along the boards on the fill. Kept alive by Tanev. Put it back in behind the net. Binnington is there. He sends it around to the near side for Falk. Up along the boards, and the Blues are out towards center ice in Braden Shen. He'll move it ahead now, and Neighbors across the line. Neighbors taking off the puck by Sandberg, but Sandberg gave it right back to him. It's sent around to the far side. Quickly to it now is Pionk. Pionk rolls off the boards, put it in front of his own net for Sandberg. Rink wide pass to the far side. Iapolo. He couldn't get the puck to settle down for him. Thomas at center will shoot it back inside the Winnipeg end. Sandberg races back in behind his own net. Leaves it there for Pionk. Up along the boards for Scheifele. He moved it ahead for Sandberg. Rink wide to the far side. Pionk back for Scheifele into where the middle. Cross the line for Kyle Connor. Darts into where the side of the slot. Didn't try to shoot the puck. Passed it off into where the corner for Scheifele. Out in front. The jam job. They score! Alex Iapolo took a little 4-foot pass from Mark Scheifele and jammed it home. Tight against the post to the far side. And we are tied at 3.
This puck wasn't in the net long. It barely goes in the far side post. But Alex Iafallo, a massive goal for the Winnipeg Jets, who had kind of been building and building and building. Got some great looks on the power play, and finally they get the reward at 5-on-5. Just great work below the goal line by the Winnipeg Jets. Kyle Connor just sends it around to Scheifele. Scheifele fights off Robert Thomas, and the play in front actually goes off the side of the net and kicks out right onto Iafallo's stick, who's got a little bit of space from Parayko, and he quickly shovels it into the net.
Iafallo's first from Scheifele and likely Connor. It comes at 9:18 of this third period. Time of the goal for JS Furniture. Visit us online at furnitureandmore.ca. So Winnipeg has tied it again. They tied it at 1 and now tie it at 3. 10:33 remaining in this third period. Faceoff will happen just outside the Jets' blue line. So Iafallo from Scheifele and Connor, as we predicted, at 9:18.
This is the important shift for Winnipeg coming out of the goal, keeping that momentum on your side.
Winnipeg broke a stick. St. Louis will deposit the puck inside the Winnipeg end. Proud is back into it again. 15,225 and another 5,000 outside. St. Louis at center ice. Across the line in Walker. Shoots from a bad angle. Floated that just wide. It drifts into the corner on the near side. Winnipeg will try to fetch that. In Gustafsson. He expels it. Out toward the side of the slot. Settled down by Barron. Barron under some pressure. Wristed out toward the line. Letty couldn't hold the line. Picked up again here by Anderson Dolan. And he'll chip it down inside. That Blues end and that fourth line did their job. Back out towards center ice. Lead pass. In some skates. Nuts inside that Winnipeg end. Grabbed there by Joseph. Onto the far side. Backhands it inside the Winnipeg end. Snatched again by Winnipeg. Pionk rolled it around for Sandberg. Back for Pionk. Out toward his own line and a lead pass. Stuffed inside that Blues end by Perfetti. Rolled around to the near side. Crowd is chanting here at Bennington. Rolled up along the boards. Onto the far side. Bolduc. Bolduc to center ice. He'll snap it inside the Winnipeg end. On the retrieve goes Sandberg. Turns into toward the corner. Put it in front of his own net for Pionk to the near side now for Niederreiter. Hops inside that Blues end. Nuts it around back and behind the net. Broberg goes after it. Spins it around to the far side. And pinching down was DeMello. He couldn't hold the line and it falls back out towards center ice. 9:05 remaining in this third period. Tied at 3. It's shot inside that Winnipeg end. Bennington will stop that. Rolled it around to the near side here for Parayko. Far side again for Falk. Up along the boards for Brayden Schenn. Schenn out of his own zone. Up to center ice on the far side there for Snuggerud. Paddled with a backhand inside that Winnipeg end. Stopped there by Hellebuck. Rolled around Morrissey to the near side for Tanev. Tanev double team there. Put it back toward his own line for Morrissey. For DeMello. Far side for Appleton. He will send it down inside that Blues end. Again, scampering after it is Fowler to the near side for Kyrou. Rink wide for Parayko. Didn't like the read. And will backpedal back inside his own zone. Winnipeg will make some changes.
Winnipeg with a couple of smart plays on entries. Just getting that puck deep and not trying to be too fancy. Nito Niederreiter, I think, thought about going seam pass to Perfetti, but just tucked it into the corner.
Schenn up along the boards. He threw a great hit on Neighbors, and here's Scheifele swiftly through that neutral ice to the near side for Connor, shooting, and he just put it wide. Goes off the back wall. Iafallo after it. Broberg beat him to it. Broberg up along the boards to the far side for Neighbors. Rink wide to the near side again here for Thomas. Slicing through that neutral ice, crossed over the line. Thomas will shoot it around to the far side for Jake Neighbors. He'll get it back toward the line. Shot by Broberg. That went wide. Grabbed again by Thomas. Trying to put it back into where the slot. Nobody home. And the puck will bounce off the boards back inside that St. Louis end. 7:40 remaining third period. We're tied at 3 on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97 at 680. CJOB. DeMello sharply up along the boards on the far side for Nemesnikov. To the near side for Petty. Golf chops it inside the zone. Bouncing puck. Picked up Niederreiter shooting as he found it in some skates. Kicked away by Bennington. Back again to the line. Morrissey. Morrissey shoots. That went wide. First touch there is Perfetti. Spins into where the corner. Played it around to the near side. Niederreiter. Back for Niederreiter. Back for Niederreiter, he'll put it back toward the line. DeMello, his shot was blocked. Puck goes into toward the corner again. Niederreiter goes back after it, put it back in behind the net. Leddy is there, spins away from Cole Perfetti and out towards center ice, and he will try to dump it inside the Winnipeg end. DeMello was there, took a hard body check by Nathan Walker. There's going to be a stoppage of play. Jets come over to protect Dylan DeMello. It was touched with a high stick, and we'll get a stoppage. 6:49 remaining in this third period, tied at 3. Iafallo is first from Scheifele and Connor at 9:18 to tie the game. Winnipeg Jets hockey is brought to you in part by reliable heating and air conditioning, Prairie Battery, and Jacuzzi, Manitoba. Timeout on the ice. We'll do the same on your radio. Tied at 3, under 7 minutes remaining in this third period. You're listening to Play Now, Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Experience the thrill of live music at South Beach Casino and
Hey sports fans, thank you for hanging out with us and chatting it up. We're thrilled to bring you the Playoff Pulse. Catch every single NHL and NBA playoff game right here while supporting an incredible cause, SickKids Hospital. Together, we can make a difference with every single view.
Holy Mackinac! Joe Bowen here, the voice of your Toronto Maple Leafs. Every moment you watch on Toronto Sports Insider helps SickKids Hospital. 100% of Leafs playoff stream revenue goes straight to their life-saving care, helping kids in our community and beyond. This is what Playoff Pulse is all about, bringing playoff excitement and making a lasting impact for those who need it most. So let's rally together and show sick kids we're in their corner.
Hey everyone, Easton Cowan here. Let's amplify our impact. Every like, share, and subscribe boost our donations to Sick Kids. Watch the games, get hyped, and spread the word to grow our Playoff Pulse community. Join us now.
So when you visit your physiotherapist, you can rest assured that you'll have received the highest standard of care. And if you don't already have a physiotherapist, you can learn more and find one at mbphysio.org.
It's like being right on the glass. Winnipeg Jets hockey on 680 CJOB.
Stay tuned for the game's 3 stars for Shine Dental. Don't miss out on life's appetizing offerings because of ill-fitting dentures. Get set right with shinedental.ca. Faceoff wasn't done fairly just outside that Jets blue line. We'll do it again. 6:48 remaining in the third period, tied at 3.
And obviously the big response from Winnipeg. Shots on goal are 7-1 in favor of the Jets in this period. So obviously they had to push on to try to tie the game. Now it's a matter of trying to keep that momentum as well.
Swept inside the zone by Tanev, stopped by Binnington. He handles the puck well as that goaltender. Outlet at far side for Broberg, lifted out towards center ice. Pionk falls back inside the zone. Down to the near side for Sandberg. Sandberg up along the wing again. Tanev turns the blade of his stick and it spills off his stick down inside that Blues end. After it goes Appleton onto the far side trying to win a puck battle. He's working against 3 Blues. Winnipeg get peeled off for a line change. And of course St. Louis comes away just based on numbers with a puck. And Winnipeg will get some fresh troops out there and Broberg falls back in behind his own net. Outlet it to the near side for Thomas. In toward the middle for Neighbors. Neighbors with some speed across that Jets line. Stops up at the hash mark. Put it back for the line on the far side. Cam Fowler came in late. Fowler will shoot it around back in behind the net for Buchnevich. His pass intended for Thomas. Broken up by Scheifele. Kicked around the boards now for Morrissey. Outlet it for Connor. Connor will shoot through that neutral ice. Cross ice pass to the far side. Scheifele scraped it off the board. Put it back for Connor to the near side. Back for Scheifele. He got fouled on a finish check there by Fowler. Sent around to the far side. Trying to pinch down is DeMello to hold the line. On the fill in behind him is Iafallo. Connor's there as well. It's spun around to the near side. After it to pinch down is Morrissey to hold the line. And for Scheifele quickly out in front for Iafallo. Broken up nicely by the Blues. And they will send it out towards center ice. Morrissey finished his check on Buchnevich. And the fans like that. Both teams will make some changes. 5:10 remaining in this third period. Tied at 3. Lead pass again for Morgan Barron. Opposite side of the zone. Squeezed out there by Ryan Suter, the 40-year-old. He moved it up along the wing, but it's stopped there by Gustafson. Played back in behind the net. Letty is there. Outlets it to the near side for Matthew Joseph. Out towards center ice. It bounced off a skate. Grabbed there by Stanley. Played it for his D partner in Luke Schmidt. Moved up along the wing of the far side, and Winnipeg is going to be in ahead of the play. Offside as Morgan Barron took that pass. 4:46 remaining in this third. Back after these again. We are tied at 3. Do not go away. You're listening to Play Now. Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets. Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
Hey Jets fans, get ready for the Winnipeg Whiteout with Jets gear and TrueNorthShop.com. Choose from a huge variety of official Winnipeg Jets Whiteout apparel, headwear, novelties, and more. Need a new white hat, t-shirt, pants, or a jersey? We've got you covered.
Moving in, shooting, score!
Shop online at TrueNorthShop.com or by visiting one of our Jets gear store locations.
Grab your jersey. Grab your generic lager. Impressively standard beer for impressively intense moments. Brewed in Winnipeg by Little Brown Jug. Generic, the most domestic choice.
When you bet with Play Now Sports, goals become... Every game will feel like the big game. Bet local with Play Now Sports, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. 18 plus, enjoy responsibly.
Manitobans know our weather can be all over the place. Today, it might be cold and shitty, but tomorrow, you might feel like an egg cooking on the sidewalk. Get ahead of the weather changes with reliable heating and air conditioning. Hi, I'm Kelsey Waters. Call us today and get a preseason checkup of your air conditioner before the hot summer days arrive. Plus, get a $50 gift card just by referring a friend to Reliable Heating. We are family strong, reliable strong, and Winnipeg strong. For details, visit reliableheatair.ca.
The official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. This is Play Now Winnipeg Jets Hockey.
Face off to the right of Connor Hellebuck. We are tied at 3. 4:46 remaining in this third period. Fans are into it, but you can feel the tension building here as well as we get later into this third. Winnipeg will win the draw. Appleton to the near side for Tannen. Beaten the puck at center ice by Falk and chopped back inside the Winnipeg end. Sandberg back in behind his own net. Stops, reverses to the near side. Moved it up along the wing. Picked off the stick there of Tannen. Now on the far side. Here's Pionk. Now to the near side for Lowry. Took a pass off his skate boots. It wasn't a great pass from Appleton. Back the other way. Sent down inside that Winnipeg end. Intercepted by Sandberg. Good rush. But Winnipeg could not execute the pass they wanted to Lowry to the near side. Come back inside that Blues end. Neighbors back deep inside his own zone. He'll hop out towards center ice. As he scraped the puck off the boards and pushed it inside the Winnipeg end. Jets will just get it out into Mello. Settled down by Buchnevich. Swept back inside his own zone for Fowler to the near side. Parayko moved up along the boards. Off a stick. Right in the middle of the ice. Again, Buchnevich. He'll flip it in from center. Stopped by Hellebuck. Rolled around to the near side. Morrissey wins the battle. Chopped up along the boards by Connor and out towards center ice. Fowler rink wide again to the far side. And then taking off the puck is Neighbors, but back in behind him was the veteran Cam Fowler. Fowler swings back inside his own zone under some pressure. Cross-ice pass on the far side. Off the bench is Radek Faksa. He'll spin it inside the Winnipeg end. Hellebuck came out to play that again. Fanned on it. Now he wristed into where the corner, but the Blues will get on that. Blues and Fax into where the corner, taking off the puck. Up along the boards it goes. Shifley into where the middle eye follow. Far side for Pionk, and he'll snap it in from center ice. 3:10 remaining in this third period. We are tied at 3. Blues will break out of their own zone. Faxa, lead pass too far for everybody. Icing will be the call against St. Louis. 24-16, the shots on goal for the Jets. Shots on goal totals are for Dr. J's Men's Sexual Health Clinic. Need to perform better in the bedroom? See the top-rated doctor on Google and rate MD. Visit Dr. J at WinnipegClinic.com.
Mentioned that rush chance that Winnipeg had that didn't quite connect on the seam pass cross ice, but how well did they recover? Could have been a possible 3-on-2 for St. Louis the other way, but Appleton able to be that forward back to keep the numbers even.
DeMello crunched along the boards on the far side, but stopped the puck from going all the way down. The fight will happen at center ice. DeMello is sitting on top of the puck, so they'll blow it down 2:48 remaining in this third period. We are tied at 3. You talked about it in our preamble before they dropped the puck. Winnipeg has been very good in the offensive zone, and part of the reason for that is to have that F3 high in case something doesn't work your way. You still got some guys on the back end that can get back and defend.
Yeah, exactly. So on that rush, Mason Appleton tries to send the pass across. It doesn't connect. His first stride isn't to the net. It's back toward the Winnipeg defenseman, and that is what gave him that head start to be able to get himself back into that play to help defend. It's not just in your own zone where you're defending all over the ice.
Winnipeg will try to keep it in. They can't. Good long stick though by Sandberg, swatted away. Nemesnikov will shoot it right back in. Binnington into the corner. Winnipeg is pressing here. Sent around back in behind the net. Perfetti goes after it. And one of the Blues went in along the back wall, and Broberg awkwardly, he's going to get back up, but he's a little stung. It's shot in from center ice. On the retrieve, Luke Schenn stripped to the puck. He will get it back again as Sandberg helped him out. And Schenn out of his own zone on the far side, up along the wing now for Appleton. He turns his stick and redirects it down inside of that Blues end. Hustling after to the far side is Tanev. Rolled it around to the near side. Angling to it now is Lowry. Lowry will put it down low for Appleton. Back toward the line for Morrissey. Morrissey shot blocked. He got it back again. Send it back toward the slot. That's broken up by Schenn. That being Braden. Sent all the way down. Icing will be the call against St. Louis. 1:44 remaining in this third period. Tied at 3.
Heck of an active stick by Josh Morrissey at the blue line. His initial shot is blocked by Snuggerud, and Snuggerud goes to take that forward step to poke it past Josh Morrissey, but Morrissey just kind of takes one extra whack at that puck, and that's what prevents Snuggerud from being able to go back the other way.
Winnipeg wins the draw. Morrissey, left side point, along the boards now for Scheifele. Twists off the boards, far side, shot, they score! With his first of the playoffs, and Winnipeg has regained the lead. It's 4-3 for the Jets with 1:36 remaining in this third period. And Scheifele, what a pass to spot Connor, and a one-timer beats Binnington. And the Jets have taken the lead, and this place is on its ear.
Binnington stopped one Kyle Connor one-timer, not the second. This one off of a set play off the face-off, where Mark Scheifele wins the draw and then basically just takes off behind the net. What that does is it allows him to be an option after the D-to-D pass. He takes that pass, circles to the top of the zone, makes himself a threat in middle ice, and then sets up Kyle Connor for this one-timer with a perfect seam pass. Connor missed on one-timer earlier, not the second.
He had 41 goals in the regular season, and if you were looking for one guy with one shot and one touch to give you the lead late, it would be Kyle Connor, and he delivers. 90 seconds to go in this third period. 4-3 Winnipeg. It's shot back inside the Blues end. They'll lumber it back out towards center ice. Sandberg to the near side, pushed it ahead and all the way down. It won't have enough for icing. Binnington to the bench for the extra attacker. Jets have the lead here. 1:10 to go in the third period. It's snapped inside that Winnipeg end. Rolled around to the far side. After it's Sandberg. He has to stop back in behind his own net. Tries to freeze it along the back wall. Tanev is there to help out. It squirts to the far side. Ambling to it is Appleton to the empty net from center. It's off the stick of one of the defensemen. Came off the back wall, and Lowry shoots and scores. Lowry will get an empty netter, and it'll be 5-3 Winnipeg with 52 seconds remaining in this third period. Appleton shot for the empty net. It went off Fowler's stick and directed wide, but popped off the back wall, and Lowry had beaten Fowler up the ice on the near side and got the next touch and put it home into the yawning cage, and the Jets have a 2-goal lead. And maybe a 1-game-to-none lead in the series.
What a third period from the Winnipeg Jets. Just have to absolutely tip your cap to them. They came out down by 1 and started putting the pressure on with the power play and never looked back. And you know, a couple of days ago, Winnipeg practiced 5-on-6, 6-on-5, those situations. And it's just perfect communication, perfect puck movement by the Winnipeg Jets that leads to this opportunity.
3 unanswered goals in this third period. Winnipeg will pitch it off the boards and try to get it out. And it's gloved ahead to the advantage of Winnipeg. Face-off, I believe, will stay inside their zone. No, it was to the advantage of St. Louis, and the face-off will come outside the blue line. 41 seconds remaining in the third. Iafallo, Connor, Lowry, all in this third period, and it's 5-3 Winnipeg.
Need your best players to be your best players, right? But at the same time, Winnipeg's talked so much about their depth and what they're able to do. Obviously, the Lowry line goes out at 5-on-6 to defend, does exactly that, wins a puck battle below the goal line. You had Mark Scheifele teeing up Kyle Connor. Everybody getting involved in this game.
Net is empty again. Shot inside the Winnipeg end. Curling in the corner is Pionk. He avoided a check, a leaping body check from Braden Shen. Thomas back to where the line for Falk. For Thomas. Thomas shoots, blocked, rebound picked up by Iafallo to the near side for Connor, to the empty net, and he hit the post, and it grazed just wide. It'll be icing against the Jets. And then Neighbors wanted a piece of Scheifele. Neighbors wants a piece of Iafallo, and we have a Donnybrook going on here. Iafallo's got Neighbors down, and he's pinned him there. There's another scrum going on. All of this in the high slot of the Winnipeg Jets end. And Neighbors wants a piece of Iafallo again, and Iafallo's bulldogged him back to the ice for a second time. And saying to maybe one of the referees, maybe you should move in to break this up.
And Neighbors tried a couple of times at Iafallo, and he's just kind of putting his arms out like, I'm just defending myself at this point. Just keeps shoving Neighbors down to the ice.
Well, Iafallo, I would call that old man strength right there against the younger guy. He just pushed him down the ice twice. He just grabbed him and pushed him down to the ice.
And of course, from St. Louis, this is, you guys might have game one, but, we're not going to go down easy. And that's fine. That's the message sending that kind of goes on in a playoff series. And for Winnipeg, of course, they're going to stand up for themselves. And, it's the best time of year, isn't it? The only thing I was thinking, when everybody kind of fell to the ice there, I'm just like, watch your hands, everyone. Because obviously that's a scary moment that happened for the Winnipeg Jets last year in the Colorado series. It'll be interesting to see what kind of comes out of this with 18.6 seconds left in terms of penalties. I know 2 members of the St. Louis Blues and 1 in Neighbors, and I didn't see the second one that left the ice, but they're already gone, so you imagine it's kind of similar on the Winnipeg side.
Braden Shen. And all of that's been cleaned up. The gloves, the sticks, they're straightening out the tempers. 18.6 seconds remaining in the third period. 5-3 Winnipeg. And the Jets are that close to a Game 1 victory, Mitchell.
And this is why officials carry a notepad in their back pocket for situations like this. So the players that have left the ice, Iafallo, Scheifele, and Pionk for Winnipeg, Buchnevich, Neighbors, and Shen for the St. Louis Blues. You imagine it's just 10-minute misconducts everywhere and just be done with it.
So here's where it all started. It started off the face-off. Scheifele slipped the stick back in behind the skates of Braden Shen and tripped him. And then Shen went and tried a leaping body check into where the corner on Pionk, and then it all came back out toward the middle of the ice in the high slot of the Jets end. Neighbors wanted a piece of somebody, Shen wanted a piece of somebody, and they got roughed up. And like we said, Alex Iafallo showed the younger player. Jake Neighbors is a great player.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Alex Iafallo, being about 8 years his senior, handled him quite easily.
Well, the interesting part is that they were about to do the face-off outside because, of course, the whistle went because Kyle Connor went for the empty net, missed the net. It's icing. And I think that's what Adam Lowry's trying to sort out with the linesman as well. I mean, there's penalties. There's all this stuff going on. Why is this face-off not outside? But seems satisfied with the explanation.
Fans are singing Journey. Winnipeg scrambled to face off, chipped into where the corner. Joseph slings it toward the net, stopped by Hellebuck. 10 seconds to go. I would tell you to get on your feet, but you're already there. up along the boards, expelled out towards center ice. Stanley's got a hold of somebody over the far side, and that's Matthew Joseph. Now there's pairing off going on all over the place in the right wing corner. 2.4 seconds remaining in this third period. There'll be an icing call against the Jets.
And Binnington wandering a little high in his zone, but I don't think Connor Hellebuck's going to give any sort of momentum back to St. Louis. He's just going to kind of hang out and be like, yeah, we got the win. That's what matters here. But you do expect the tempers to kind of flare. This is a physical game from the drop of the puck in the first period. So obviously with Winnipeg ahead by 2, there's going to be some liberties taken a little bit to kind of show it's going to be a long series.
Matthew Joseph, we'll hear it from the fans as he's escorted off the ice. 2.4 seconds remaining in this third period. There goes Nathan Walker. Oh, there's going to be a party in downtown tonight at another level. They got after a little day drinking. Now there'll be the nightcap.
Everybody mix in a water, maybe some electrolytes. We talked about old man strength earlier. How's the old man advice? Still some conversations going on between one of the officials and Jim Montgomery, sending Luke Shen down the hallway. This is kind of one of those situations where you're like, okay, let's just make sure nothing crazy happens off of this face-off.
Yeah, they get Morrissey off the ice. Looks like St. Louis, now they've got a fifth skater out there. Binnington's back in the net. This is academic. They'll drop the puck. And that'll do it. The Winnipeg Jets score 3 unanswered in the third and come back to win game 1. 5-3 the final score, and they lead the series 1-0. Game 2, Monday night, 6:30. We'll be here to bring it. We hope you are as well. What a game tonight to open up the playoffs.
Neil Pionk came flying back on the ice without his shoulder pads. Sandberg doing the same. All the players that were ejected at the end of the game come flying out to partake in the ceremony. It's kind of a funny look, but nonetheless, well-deserved win for the Winnipeg Jets, who just stayed after it. A bunch of times where St. Louis was able to grab onto some momentum and move forward and build a lead, but Winnipeg just never gave in, never gave an inch, and really took over the game in the third period and were rewarded with those 3 goals.
The final score once again, the Winnipeg Jets 5, the St. Louis Blues 3. The Jets lead this best-of-7 first-round playoff series with the St. Louis Blues 1-0. And as mentioned, game number 2 on Monday night at 6:30 Central. Totals in the post-game show are coming up next. You're listening to Play Now, Winnipeg Jets playoff hockey on the radio home of the Jets, Power 97 and 680 CJOB.
And I think luckily for us, we're able to, really kind of.
Hey, sports fans. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here on Toronto Sports Insider during the Playoff Pulse. Our mission is simple, bringing sports fans together to hang out, cheer, and change the world one insider at a time, while supporting SickKids Hospital in Toronto every single game.
Cheers, insiders and sports fans from around the world. The Playoff Pulse campaign on Toronto Sports Insider is uniting fans worldwide through the thrill of NHL and NBA playoffs. Every game, every fan, every moment counts. The link is pinned in the chat and in the description. Check out our campaign page. Donate if you can, or share it with friends. Holy Mackinac! Every click helps sick kids heal the future. Just by being here, you have already made an impact. Now, chat it up, keep it classy, and let's keep changing the world one insider at a time.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is TSI Mike, and now that we've got your attention, we're bringing you every single game of the NBA and NHL playoffs while supporting SickKids Hospital in Toronto through our Playoff Pulse campaign. Let's grow our global community. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell, and join the action.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Joe Bowen here, voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Playoff Pulse on Toronto Sports Insider is all about playoff thrills and making a difference, with 100% of Leaf playoff stream revenue going directly to SickKids for their life-saving treatments and research. We're aiming for 100,000 insiders to boost our impact. So subscribe now and be a part of this incredible movement. Holy Mackinac! Let's show SickKids Hospital we're here for them. Join us today.
Hey you, yeah you, Easton Cowan, Leafs prospect here. I'm loving these Playoff Pulse live hangouts. Subscribe and turn on the bell to catch every game. Keep the chat buzzing and let's cheer for SickKids together. See you in the chat.
Hey sports fans, it's TSI Mike, and we're uniting fans worldwide with the NHL and NBA playoff action while supporting SickKids Hospital right here in Toronto. Click the live viewer.
On SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 with Steve Koulias to discuss what it was like successfully keeping Joe Sakic in Colorado in 1997 during a chaotic 7-day time frame.
That all this, Charlie, comes together in 7 days. Like this isn't one moving part. Like if we get the Fox deal done, it's done. If the movie does really well, we'll borrow from the future, even though that wasn't the best thing, as you alluded to, from the movie company. Or the mayor says, yeah, we're going to do that. Like they could have said, it's August. We'll talk after Labor Day. So what's incredible, everybody knew, right? That you got it done that quickly, which is almost, it's hard to do one deal in 5 business days, let alone the 7 you dealt with.
You know, in the movie business, I make this point in the documentary. One of the things that keeps an audience engaged is if the clock is ticking. You know, find the person that's been kidnapped, disable the bomb, stop the terrorist, get to the stage on time so you can get up and do your stand-up comedy when the audience is waiting. The ticking clock makes people realize we don't have time to screw around. We got to fix this and do it right now. So that was, in many ways, as miserable it was for, and particularly with my team, because I had a great team, you know, but they did the heavy lifting because in essence, we had to do everything on handshakes. You're not going to get everything documented, but you're talking about the most honorable parties on earth, the mayor, Fox, Liberty Media. When they shake your hand, it's gold. And so we got it all done and here we are.
What was it like this is 1997, so no e-transfers. What was it like